say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Now, once again, the Grand Marshal of today's Talladega 500, Randy Owen. Gentlemen, start your engines.
Ready for 188 white-knuckle laps at the world's fastest speedway. Let's go down to the starting grid. And Speedway Illustrated's Dick Berggren.
Thanks, Mike. The headline today is Speed and Fear. In the wake of recent tragedies, today they will travel together in frightening packs, racing 3 and 4 wide at over 180 miles an hour. The goal of every team, miss the big one, the wreck with a dozen or more cars. Right now, the drivers and crews are trying to put fear aside, concentrate, and hope to be lucky enough to have a chance to win at the end of the race. But all want this most, that at the end of the day, every driver will walk away.
Well, I mean, this is our biggest and fastest racetrack, and it should install a little bit of fear into everybody.
I mean, if you lose focus for one lap, or if you lose focus for 1 second, you know, you're right in the middle of a pack of 43 cars, and you can take out 40 cars.
It takes an unbelievable amount of concentration here at Talladega. You don't have any room. The cars are compacted all around you. You're just at the mercy of really who's around you.
You know how intense and everything that you put into it. When the checkered falls, if you're 5th or 10th or 7th, or if you win, you just say, yes, you know, I gave it all I had on this day, and I got what I got.
There's a lot on the line at every auto race. Today, there's more on the line than at most. To Matt Yoakum.
Dick, Dale Earnhardt was the most prolific restrictor plate driver in NASCAR history with 11 wins and only 53 plate races. No one will ever replace the man in black, but someone will fill his restrictor plate role as the guy to follow all the way to the front. So who will be the new go-to guy? Dale Jarrett or Jeff Gordon? They've combined for 11 plate wins. Or will someone new step forward? It's a question that at day's end could still be left unanswered. To Steve Burns.
Matt, when this massive racetrack opened in 1969, Dodge finished 1, 2, and 3 in the very first race, but NASCAR hasn't seen a Dodge in victory lane since 1977 when Neil Bonnet pulled off a victory. But today, Dodge starts 1, 2, 3, led by Stacy Compton, Sterling Marlin, and Bill Elliott. Can one of these 3 drivers bring Dodge back to victory lane for the first time in 24 years? To Jeannie Zelasco.
Well, Steve, Michael Waltrip says he will take every single bit of information he gained in Daytona and apply it here at Talladega, and that's a good thing, considering he is the Daytona 500 champion. So he did have to leave that winning car behind at Daytona, USA, but he left with something more important, knowledge. Knowledge that the 15 team poured into this car. They are feeling confident, and Mike Joy hoping that they can live up to the expectations of being the Daytona 500 champion.
Thank you, Jeannie. The cars begin to roll as on Fox. From Talladega, we get set to show you life on the fastest track.
I'm a traveling man, made a lot of stops all over the world, and in every port I own at least one lovely girl.
Honey!
Oh, I'm a traveling man. Yes, I'm a traveling man. Yes, I'm a traveling man. Whoa, I'm a traveling man.
A little of your time can make a lifetime of difference because kids with something to do are less likely to do drugs.
Standing right in front of them.
You can help. Call toll-free 1-877-KIDS-313 to find out about community drug prevention programs.
I can keep a kid off drugs.
It may be the beginning of life. It may be the end of the world.
This isn't about the X-Files, Scully. It's only about you.
Get ready for the season's final 5 episodes, leading to the most shocking moment of all.
Push, Dana, push!
The X-Files, all new, starting at 9, 8 Central tonight on Fox. They were designed to be the perfect killing machines.
Yesterday, a body was found in the woods outside of the city. Had a barcode on his neck.
Now, one is on a rampage.
The safety workers salute the drivers as they come by on one of the pace laps. The crowd is all filed into the seats, and most all of them are full, certainly on the front stretch, and all but the lowest seats on the back straightaway. Budweiser, official beer of NASCAR, proud sponsor of the Bud Pole Award to the fastest qualifier at each Winston Cup race. Stacy Compton is today's Bud Pole winner. Since 1979, more than $7 million has been awarded to Bud Pole program winners. So here's a look at our subway starting grid for today's race. Compton and Marlin are the two Ernie Elliott-powered Dodges up there on the front row.
Yeah, I thought I would have picked Sterling second here last time, but I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Bill Elliott, he'll start third, has won here twice, once made 2 laps up under green to come back and win.
I was here for that.
Ricky Craven fast in yesterday's practice.
Mark Martin inside the third row. 2 wins here included in his 18 Talladega top 10 finishes.
And Tony Stewart, he could be somebody to watch today. Shakes off that Daytona crash and has at it.
Kevin Harvick, Atlanta winner. Joe Nemechek, third here last October.
Mike Skinner, he'll start 12th. Career best finish of second 1 year ago.
You don't have to start up front. Jeff Gordon won from 36th there last year.
Yes, he did. And the only thing is he doesn't have any flames. If he had flames, I'd be thinking he'd be great today.
Dave Marcus, Mr. Wingtips, first race of 2001 season, 61st Talladega race start.
Steve Clark, Kevin LePage there.
My pick, Dale Jr. Go, young man.
Jeff Burton, best finish here was 7th in 14 races.
Andy Houston there next to Brett Bodine. Andy's never raced here till today.
There's Rusty Wallace. He was third at Daytona, and he's pretty confident.
Kurt Busch is also seeing Talladega for the very first time. Buckshot Jones, or rather John Andretti there with Bobby Hamilton. Presley, Todd Bodine.
There's Jimmy Spencer. Now, he has won here back in 1994. Had a great run yesterday in the Busch race.
Ken Schrader, he's a former winner back in 1988 here.
Johnny Benson, best restrictor plate result in 20 races is 9th here at Talladega.
And there's Ward Burton. We don't know how good his car is because he didn't get to qualify. Had some sort of problem. He didn't get to make a run.
Jeff Hammonds picked Jeremy Mayfield out back there. He was last year's pole winner for this race. Rookie Ron Hornaday. And Mike Wallace, who was 6th at Daytona, completes the 43-car field. Kyle Petty did not qualify for today's race, nor did Kenny Wallace, and the only Alabama driver to attempt, Hut Strickland, Andy Hillenberg from Indiana, and Rick Mast from Virginia also had to head home. First race Kenny Wallace has missed in 5 years. Over $3.8 million in posted awards, including season-ending point money. The 500 miles will consume 188 laps. And every 50 or 55 laps, they're going to need fuel and tires.
And most of the time, it will be 2 tires.
So get set as we go racing on Fox on the fastest speedway on earth. It's coming at you next. And we will in 1 lap. Now, today's weather is just dead solid perfect. 79 degrees, track temperature 104, light humidity, moderate wind.
And I got to believe that's going to stay pretty consistent. A few clouds in the sky, and so I'd look for this to stay pretty consistent.
Yeah, it's a pretty warm day from a driver's perspective, but they've all got the cool boxes in, blows cool air in the helmets. That's to keep their heads cool, and they're going to need that all day long.
Darrell, I've got to ask, the memory of Daytona is fresh in everyone's mind in this field. Would you want to be up front, or would you want to hang back in, say, these first 100 or so miles?
Mike, I'll wreck you to stay up front. I mean, I'll run you down in the grass to stay up front because that's the safest place to be. But if I get shuffled to the back, I'm going to watch them wreck you trying to stay up front.
Okay. Larry, do you want your car up? Do you want your car in the midst of all that?
I want my car at the front. I'm going to do everything I can on pit road to make the right strategy calls. Anything we can do, working with the spotter, working with anybody to keep that car at the front of the field.
But, Darrell, there's 43 guys who want to be in the front, and 30 of them are capable of being there.
It's what I always call the eye of the storm. You don't want to be in the eye. You want to be in the fringes of it. But don't get caught up in the middle, because that's where the action is.
Dick Berggren.
The fast way around Talladega is at the bottom. The closer to the bottom, the better. But this morning in the drivers' meeting, Mike Helton warned the drivers, do not cross that yellow line, because if you do, you are at risk of a black flag. Lots of the Busch Series drivers did it yesterday, running below the white line. They were just talked to. Today, it'll be the black flag if NASCAR decides they're running too low.
You're right. They can't do that in the corners because of the transition from the 36-degree banking to the flat apron. But down the back straightaway, we saw them everywhere, but in the grass yesterday.
And that's what gets you in trouble here. When you get 4 wide going into the turn, the guy on the inside will always clip that apron with that left front wheel, and it'll make his car run up the racetrack. When he does, he gets into the guy beside him, and that sets off a chain reaction.
From pace car speed, how long will it take to get everyone up to race pace?
Oh, the guys in the front, they'll get going, and, the first lap, they'll be 51 seconds. The next lap, they'll be 50 seconds, and then they'll be down into 49 seconds. So 185, 190, and then 190 and above once they get sorted out.
5 lanes wide and banked steeper in the corners than the roof of your house. The widest, fastest, steepest superspeedway on earth.
It all seems so easy here. So easy. But it happens so fast.
Okay, pull your belts tight. Spotter, take care of them. You got 2 spotters here, one on the front stretch, one on the back stretch. Long way down to this start-finish line. Not here in the trial, but like at Daytona, all the way headed down the short chute into turn 1. Green flag coming.
Darrell, are you hopeful or nervous?
Well, right now you're just real tentative. You don't know what to expect. You don't know what your car's going to do. You just like to get going, shake off those butterflies, get into a rhythm, and then start racing.
Green flag, and Stacy Compton steps out with a lead.
A big lead here can be good, but it can be bad. They get a run on you. You get out there too far.
And it doesn't take very long in a race like this to find out what kind of day you're going to have. Are the drivers going to respect each other? Are they going to give and take? Or is it going to be wild and rowdy right from the get-go?
Well, it's at least 3 wide already.
4 wide. That didn't take long.
No. 4 wide into the corner.
And again, this is not Daytona. This is Talladega. Even though they are called similar racetracks, they're totally different. They race totally different.
Ricky Craven in the 32 car there burned a piston in his motor late in practice yesterday. They was driving the car around the garage area this morning, just making sure the clutch and everything worked good.
4 wide through the tri-oval, now down to 3 abreast.
The trickiest part of this racetrack is through the tri-oval. For the guy on the inside, when they're 4 wide, if he gets those left side wheels, again, down on that flat, it can upset the car and shoot him right into the guy beside him. Right now, you're pretty comfortable. They're coming up to speed. They're still gaining speed every lap. That time by, they were 50, 40. And as they get going here, they'll be down into 49 seconds.
It just shows you how much the draft means. Stacy Compton sat on the pole at a 51.80, about 2 seconds quicker in the draft.
5 cars on the inside line in front trying to break away as we come to lap 3, and we'll honor Dale Earnhardt's memory. the Dodge of Bill Elliott with him.
Well, there's no question about it that Sterling has had the best Dodge all year long, week in, week out. And he leads again this week, and he's led every race. That car is going to win a race.
Looks like Stacy Compton, our pole sitter there in the middle in the 92 car. He was odd man out on this session right here. He gets back in line just in front of Andy Houston.
Her old truck mates, you know, they race trucks together. Gave him a break, let him in. That's what you want to see early in the race particularly. Like to see it all day long, but early on.
How about the 01 right there? That's Jason Leffler. He's moved up from 23rd position, 25th position. This is a good run for him.
Coming from the back here is easy. You got all those cars to draft on. You got all those cars to suck you right up there like a big vacuum cleaner. That thing, they get a whole thing, they pull you up there, and you got to go.
Yeah, sucking up here has nothing to do with corporate politeness.
No, it doesn't.
It's catching the draft and using it to suck your car up to the group ahead. Two rookies and an open wheel veteran there, 3 abreast.
25 with you, clear all around.
And it looks so sanitary. 3 wide, nice even spaced lines. Everybody minding their own business.
Ricky Craven in the 32 car, he started third, got kicked back, working the high side there. He's going to get in line right here. Didn't have a lot of help up there, but he gets back in front of the 29 car, Kevin Harvick.
But look at the log jam right behind this single file group where still Leffler leads the middle lane. Blaney on the high side, 93, and a big jam up behind him. Oh, Blaney got a little loose there, slid up the racetrack.
What you'll see here at Talladega time and time again, the guys in the back will work their way right to the front. The guys in the front will work themselves to the back, but that'll go on all day long. Backwards and forth, backwards and forth.
Well, we're looking out the front of Ron Hornaday right here, the 14 car. This just tells you where you start does not mean a whole lot at Talladega. He started 42nd. He is 17th now.
Looking back at Mike Wallace from Hornaday.
Back 2.
Right now is when your crew chief is calling in and asking.
Back 2 to 7. Ain't going to leave us. He's going to stay right with us now.
3 wide, Casey Atwood, the rookie.
That's Gordon down there on the bottom, easing on by. They'll be calling in and asking about the gauges because they run a few laps here in traffic. How's your temperature? So that they can start thinking about the tape. How's your car? Is there anything we need to do right away? If anything.
3 wide. 2 wide. 2 wide. 2 wide.
Casey Atwood fought his way up through there. That's his red number 19, moving up the outside.
There's no question about it. You can get, if you get help, there is no slow line. You get help in the middle, you're going to go forward through the middle. Get help on the outside, you can make that outside work.
Pole sitter Compton, 92, has drifted back right about midfield.
Ron Hornaday in that green 14 car. Boy, he is on the move. He's all the way up now to 12th.
And there's no real panic right now. Doesn't matter really what's going on. Just stay out of trouble. Work on your car. Concentrate. Try to give the crew some information, things they can use that'll make you better later on in the day. We got 500 miles here.
Sterling Marlin leads Bill Elliott, 2 Dodges out front. Let's go to Steve Burns.
Mike, that's the very same Dodge that Sterling Marlin drove to a 7th place finish at the Daytona 500. The team built a new car for this racetrack, but they decided the Daytona 500 car was better. And when NASCAR made a rule change to raise that air deflector across the roof of the car, crew chief Lee McCall said it just made him mad. They just wanted to work harder to get this car ready for the race.
We thought that rule change would slow down the Dodges, but they took the first 3 qualifying spots, and they lead this race. Marlin, Elliott, then Mark Martin, Tony Stewart, and Michael Waltrip are the top 5, but the whole pack is in one long draft coming off turn 4. That's the way they run here at Talladega. We'll be right back to the fastest speedway on Earth on Fox.
Way on Fox is brought to you by Subway. showing the world how great a fresh sandwich can taste. Subway, eat fresh. By Labor Ready, dependable temporary labor guaranteed. By Lowe's Home Improvement Warehouse, Lowe's improving home improvement. And by Fram, pay a little more now or pay a lot later.
Coming around to complete 12 laps at the Talladega Superspeedway.
Man, is that all?
I know, it only seems like 100, Darrell.
I thought we've been racing. I thought it was a couple hundred laps here.
Because you've been holding your breath for that long. Now, Sterling Marlin leads the race. Michael Waltrip leads the group in the outside. Kevin Harvick right with him. And Andy Houston, the rookie.
And guys are really starting to move each other around. Some of these guys, 12, 15 laps, the cars have come around. They're starting to make some pretty bold moves.
Except for tail end Charlie.
Oh, Lonesome Sam there. But let me tell you, if my hot rod was as fast as his, I'd be right where he is.
Matt, what's the story on Dale Jarrett?
Same game plan as Daytona, Mike. Drop to the back and ride. Todd Parrott told me this morning that's going to be the game plan. He says he figures that DJ needs, after the final practice session, they learned he needs about 10 laps to go from the back to the front. So right now, they said their race is 2 sections to start and 60 laps to go.
And you see that Jarrett's speed is right on pace with the leader. Remember here last October, Dale Earnhardt made what I consider one of the greatest comebacks in the history of all sports, coming from 18th to win in 3 laps.
But with this aerodynamic package and with everybody kind of trying to protect the lead, you can come from the back, you can take them by surprise, and that's what happens when you're coming up on them and they don't know where you come from.
And what we mean by the new aerodynamic package, what it's doing, it's poking a bigger hole in the air, dirtying the air up, and enables the car to pull back up, or a pack of cars to pull back up. Till they did this with the roof fin and the spoiler, you could not pull back. We pretty much knew who was going to win the race 10, 15 laps to go. Nobody could pass.
We know Dale Jarrett's strict, but how about these cars? Jeannie?
Well, how about Tony Stewart, the strategy or lack thereof? He says he doesn't plan anything because there are 42 other guys planning something that they're going to do. No matter what you do, it's going to ruin what you're planning. He said, I've never had a plan. I had one plan the very first time I came here, and it grenaded on the second lap, so I'm not going to worry about plans anymore. I'm just going to drive, guys.
Is he right, Darrell? Do you have to be more reactive here than proactive?
Well, right now, the guys up front there, they're happy. There's nobody trying to pull out, nobody trying to pass. Sterling and Bill are running nose to tail. You got Mark right there and Tony. Those guys kind of, if they can stay hooked up that way, protect that lead, they're tickled to death to look back and see all those guys side by side.
Jeff Gordon trying to move up into the top 10 as you look from the back of the DuPont Pepsi Chevy. That's Ward Burton right behind him.
Still outside.
Looking at Ward Burton on Friday in qualifying, his car never made it off pit road. He had to use a provisional, started 39th, and he has moved all the way up to the 13th position. Felt like they had a pretty fast race car, just didn't get to qualify.
Biggest mover, 7th place, Ron Hornaday. Started 42nd, and he is up to 7th. Boy, things shook out behind Casey Atwood. He got a little loose there going into turn 1.
I've been watching this car. It's jumping around a lot on him, and it just jumped right out from under him then sideways. And that's how you get in trouble here with everybody around you.
Darrell, when we see that happen, is it more apt to be mechanical or aerodynamic?
No, it's aerodynamics. It just lifts the thing up. You run such aggressive top package to make these cars fast. When they get a little air around them, get them upset, they'll jump up in the air and turn sideways.
That has allowed about a dozen cars a little bit of breathing room on the field.
And, Mike, I'm not kidding. They literally jump up in the air. The wheels will come off the ground with so much rebound in the shocks.
These guys, they've got to where they don't even change their cars from how they've got them on the ground the best they can from qualifying to race. You want it to stay on the ground, run as fast as you can on the straightaways. Look at Ron Hornaday in that 14 car, up at the high side by himself.
He's going to come from the last row to the first row.
Yeah, he's got some ponies under the hood today.
2 by 2, you got help coming.
Got a little bit of help coming. You hear the spotter tell him, got help coming from Stacy Compton. The pole sitter moves to the outside, though.
Well, if your coach and car owner was A.J. Foyt, wouldn't you be running to the front?
I'd rather, get up front or else. Going to have to deal with Supertex, and I wouldn't want to do that. 43 cars out here ain't nothing compared to dealing with him.
You know, 12 cars got a little bit away when Casey Atwood had his bobble, but they've all accordioned right back into one pack again.
These cars have now what they call the closing rate. They close up so fast. There's such a hole being shot, pushed in the air by all this aerodynamic stuff that it allows the car behind to really, really close up in a hurry.
And a lot of time when they do that, Darrell, they won't actually back off the throttle. They reach up there and touch the brake pedal.
Boy, that car is all over the place.
He needs to go back there and...
So coming outside, and we're coming 3 wide right there.
riding with Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Watch
what happened to
watch
Casey
this
Atwood
19
earlier.
car. He's bouncing around, hopping around. He sticks it down in there. Whoa, I'm wobbling, I'm weaving. Give me some room. Boy, if John Andretti hadn't let him in, that could have been a wreck.
Boy, it had all the ingredients of one.
That's a rookie right in front of a good veteran that knew what to do.
This car is actually the car that Bill Elliott sat on the pole with at Daytona and finished 5th. Casey inherited it for here at Talladega.
It looks like maybe it's a low drag car. In other words, not a lot of downforce, and it's causing him a lot of trouble in traffic.
Hornaday trying to bust his way through the middle. Buckshot Jones on the outside of him. And he comes through with 33 Joe Nemechek. And Casey Atwood.
Cars really, the front end gets real light as you exit the turns, particularly when you're behind somebody. Takes the air off the nose, and you really have the wheels cut around. And when they bite, sometimes the car will get jukey and jump around with you.
Darryl, what we're seeing, it just looks like the bottom of this racetrack. That's the lane that's moving. We saw it yesterday in the Busch race. Jimmy Spencer on the high side, he just couldn't make that pass. Didn't have a lot of help, but it's like the bottom of the racetrack is the fast way.
And I see that with Ken Schrader. Schrader started 36th in car 36, fought his way up to the top 20, then found himself a place in the bottom lane, an 18th spot, and he sat right there. Hasn't gained, hasn't lost, but in a nice, comfortable spot.
Now, once you find a place where just what you said, you're comfortable, you'd like to stay there and tell everybody to leave me alone. Some of those hand signals we've seen ain't all about passing or anything else about just get away and leave me alone.
Well, we got two fast race cars hooked up together, though. Ward Burton in the 22, Ron Hornaday in that 14 started into the rear of the field, and they're all the way breaking into the top 10 right here.
When you're on the outside, you go up to the front and back to the rear, up to the front and back to the rear.
Over 100,000 seats at Talladega, but all they're using is the front edge. 19 laps complete, all green so far in the Talladega 500 presented by Subway. Lead in the Talladega 500 presented by Subway on Fox. I like that sign on Michael Waltrip's dash.
You can hear the engine in that car. Never changes sounds. He's got it wide open all the time. It's turned about 7,000 RPM. Now he squeezed up a little bit then. Here I see the sound got a little softer. Now he's back in it. And that's what you do. He's probably working the gas and the brake together to stay right in, tucked in tight on that 24 car.
Ward Burton up alongside of Gordon. Hornaday next to Waltrip. Earnhardt Jr., Waltrip's teammate, right behind. Up front, I wonder, as long as Sterling Marlin and Bill Elliott have the lead, can anybody else get to the front?
Boy, Gary, they do. He's bringing this outside line with Ward Burton and Ron Hornaday. They got a good run-up off turn 2, DW.
They did, and they're trying to get out there, and we're not going to have much of a race here till these guys get up here and challenge Sterling and Bill. But they're working their way right up there. Got to stay together. See how Hornaday fell back. That'll hurt them a little bit. What generally happens, they'll get all the way up there, and then one of them will dive down on the inside and leave the rest of them hanging out. You'll work real hard with the guy, get him up there, and then he'll leave you.
Last October, let's not forget, it was Kenny Wallace drafting in tight tandem with Dale Earnhardt that helped Dale get to the front in those final 3 laps. From first to last, it's only 3.9 seconds.
Yeah, nobody is falling out of the lead draft. Everybody's still running right together.
There's old Lonesome Dale.
Great shot. Look at him sitting in there. He's just, this arm over here is just kind of got it on the roll bar, kind of holding the thing steady down the straightaway, getting to the turn, tightens up on the steering wheel a little bit. Now watch his head bob around a little bit. Bam, 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 bam. Not the easiest way to make a living.
Sure is a fun one. Matt Yoakum.
The only concern for Dale Jarrett, Mike, about 5 laps ago, Dale's spotter, Bob Jeffrey, told him some paper on the grill. So he worked out with Brian Danty and Johnny Benson's spotter, who's also riding back with DJ, if DJ could run up and bump the 10 car to clean the grill. Benson said, sure, just do it on the backstretch. He did. Then Todd Parrott gave him the difference from 1st to 43rd. DJ said, don't worry about it. It is not a problem. To Dick.
Well, Dale Jarrett's going to have some company back there because pole sitter Stacy Compton has dropped all the way to the back of the pack. Early overheating. They dropped back in order to try and cool things off just a little bit. Right now, the water's down to 180, 220 on the oil. That isn't too bad at all, but he's going to ride around in the back with Dale Jarrett. Try to miss the big one.
In preseason, the Dodge engines, previously untested in Winston Cup, did have overheating difficulties, but it's not been much of a problem since we started the race season.
But we got air temperatures in the mid-80s and probably going to climb as the day goes on. These guys, we run as much tape as we can on the front end, makes these cars go faster down the straightaway. As long as you can keep that water temperature around 215 to 220 in the draft, oil temperature 240, 250, you'll be okay.
Oh, yeah, those engine men will start hollering at you if it gets over 220 because the engine will start to detonate, misfire, and the next thing you know, you've got a failure.
He took the piece of paper off his grill by wiping it off on the car ahead's bumper at 190 miles an hour.
Well, what he did is he ran right up underneath the car, Benson's car. That takes all the air off the front of his car. And with no air pushing on it, it just lets the paper fall right off.
Yeah, he probably never actually had to get up there and touch him.
No, he just got it tight. Got it close to him, and it came right off.
Well, as we said in February, Daytona.
I think it might, some of it still may be on there.
These are common men doing very uncommon things.
Do whatever it takes when you need to do it.
But we've all learned. We all know what we can and can't do. It's when you go outside that box you get in trouble.
Guys, the 6-car, Mark Martin, we've not really talked about him. He's got a strategy, it looks like, of trying to stay up front. He started 5th. He was the only Roush car to qualify in the top 20. Been sitting there running in the top 5 since the green flag drop.
That car is as good here as it was not good at Daytona.
Yeah, and again, I make a point about this is not Daytona. I've had cars that won't run a lick at Daytona that fly here. There's something about the racetracks that's so totally different.
Listening to Mark Martin's crew chief, Jimmy Fennick, talk to him just a few laps ago. He radioed Mark and said, how is everything? Everything is fine, Jimmy. I'm just riding. I'm just riding. So Mark Martin is very happy with where he is, riding behind Bill Elliott.
Things happen so fast here. The crew chief, we don't say a lot to the drivers. You let those spotters have the airways, because while you're asking him a question or he's answering you, there could be somebody running on the high side fixing to pass you. You got to leave it open to the spotters.
The biggest thing I liked about here was don't bother me about a lot of technical things, but encourage me. Tell me I'm doing a good job. Tell me to stay where I am. Stay in that lead draft. Hang in there, buddy. We got a long way to go. Encouraging the driver is one of the most important things that you can do, particularly when you're at a track like this and tension is so high.
Boy, the banking, it's like running on the side of a building. But Darrell, you used the word a lot, anticipate. The driver has to anticipate. The spotter has to be a good anticipator as well.
Yeah, he can, you know, normally you can look at a situation and see cars getting together and you can start to anticipate some action. Here you got to anticipate all the way around because they're all over the, you know, they're all bunched up together the way they are.
Steve?
Darrell, you're exactly right. I was listening to Jeff Gordon right before the race started, and all he talked about was to his spotter, Ron Thiel. He said, let me know if I'm getting in a position where I'm going to be 3 wide. I don't want to be in the middle. Other than that, there has been no communication.
And that's a lot like we talked yesterday. Mike McLaughlin won this race. His spotter, Curtis Markham, former Busch driver. Jeff Gordon's spotter, Ron Thiel Jr., former Busch North driver. To have somebody who's been there and done some of that, that's quite an advantage.
You don't realize, nobody does unless you've been out there. You can push the wrong button, and you can really upset that driver. You can tell him something that he really doesn't need to know, start asking questions that are not important, and the next thing you know, you've got a driver that's irritated. Here, you just need to be, you got to know what he needs to hear and keep telling him that.
Well, we've been watching Bobby Hamilton in the 55 car. He's been really working the high side, trying to see, I think, there he is right up there at the very top of the racetrack. He's wanting some help up there to see if we can do anything up here, guys.
He's going to run about the Talladega 520 if he stays up there.
He's got help coming with Rusty Wallace in the 2 and Dave Marcus in the 71. This is looking out in front of Rusty, looking toward Bobby Hamilton.
But Darrell, even in the tri-oval, Hamilton came through here way high up the racetrack.
Well, we've always seen, particularly the last couple of years here, there are 2 distinctive lines. And normally that outside line, if you get enough help, can work its way up to the front. And I tell you, Nadeau is doing everything he can to pull that outside line right to the lead. He's gained a lot, and he's gaining more every lap.
Working on the outside.
Wallace underneath Presley.
This is going to be the first challenge we've had from anybody on Sterling Marlin since the race started.
That 55 team that Hamilton drives for, they finished second here last October with Kenny Wallace driving. And here comes Nadeau. The little engine that could, it's like, is trying to pull that train up alongside on track 2.
Well, he's got some great help. He's got Burton there, and he's got Hornaday. He's got some great help, and they're coming right to the front. Now, the 40 car will do what I think. What you got to do now is play both sides. Watch him. He'll move over to the left and pull the left line up. Here he comes. He's going to keep Bill's right with him. Stay with Bill. Now move out a little bit. That way you keep those cars behind you side by side.
That's a tough job to do, though, DW.
It is, and you're really sitting there second-guessing where everybody's going to go.
Nadeau edges forward.
Wow, that is very impressive considering that nobody has been able to get up there like that since the race started.
And the cars that's pushing him up there, again, is Ward Burton in the 22 that started 39th, and Ron Hornaday who started 42nd.
Now, everything's going to change. All bets are off. Got to go back to run a different strategy. Mark Martin, Bill Elliott, Sterling, all of them, they got to rethink what they were doing. What are we going to do now?
And suddenly the race has changed. What was a single file procession at the front has Danbury, Connecticut's Jerry Nadeau coming around to lead a lap in the Talladega 500 on Fox, race 9 of the season. At the fastest track on Earth. Plenty of room to race here. We've seen them 4 wide, and they're 3 wide routinely as Jeff Gordon has now taken the lead from Mike Skinner.
Well, at least we've seen that outside line work. Somebody can pull themselves up to the lead. And that's what you need here to be able to win this race, actually.
And Darrell, he's sporting those new Pepsi colors, and he made his way to the front without the flame.
I don't see how he did it. Car looks sharp. I like it, but I think it looked good if it had flames on the side.
Steve?
Well, Jeff Gordon had been complaining just a few laps ago that 24 car had gotten a bit loose, but he told Robbie Loomis just a second ago after he took the lead that the car handles better on the high side. Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
Steve, we are within 6 or 8 laps of teams making their first round of scheduled pit stops, polling a number of crew chiefs this morning. Looking at Saturday's Busch race when Mike McLaughlin, the winner, went 113 laps on his left side tires. A lot of guys thinking about doing 2 tire stops here, only taking about 11 seconds to get the gas in, just take on 2 tires for track position to try to get back up front. But Johnny Benson looking at 4 tires, Todd Parrott, crew chief of Dale Jarrett, also looking at 4 tires as well. Jeff?
Today, before the start of this race at the drivers' meeting, NASCAR President Mike Helton overemphasized to these drivers, if you notice that line, that yellow line, that today there would be no way in the world if a driver got down below that line unless he was forced down there. They'd be brought in under a black flag for not driving where they're supposed to. They better mind their P's and Q's. We were not going to have a situation like what happened at Daytona. As you can see right now, we've gone over 45 laps. These guys are really doing a great job out there of minding their P's and Q's.
And from 36th to 1st comes Kenny Schrader. He did not lead the last lap, and he may not lead this one.
Again, he's got a good car there with Blaney right behind him, pushing him right up through there. He gets some good cars lined up on the outside, and I think that's really looking like the fast way. And these guys are probably going to take 4 tires, Mike, because you're going to have to fill the car full of fuel. You got to get all 22 gallon in it, so you got to put 4 tires. There ain't no need in just sticking a little gas in and going.
I mean, these guys are changing 4 tires in 14 seconds.
Right.
You got to get both cans of fuel in. That takes that long. The track is pretty slick and hot. I want to go ahead and get me my 4 tires, but I'm running up and down pit road to other crew chiefs saying, what do you think about let's change 4? You need to get together. Remember, because of the draft, you don't want to be stuck pitting by yourself.
And the pack really bunches up now. We're going to let you listen to some pure American horsepower and let the pictures tell the story for the next little bit. Take your surround sound at home or in your camper or wherever you're watching and crank it up at Talladega. Ken Schrader gets a big roar from the crowd as he stays out front past the start-finish line and leads a lap. Kevin LePage made his stop. Casey Atwood is among those in on this lap under green.
This is a little bit early. Most of the teams was talking like they could go 50 to 55 laps. Darrell, but it's such a fine line. You want partners on pit road with you, but you don't want half the field.
No.
Heck, it looks like a street in Manhattan at rush hour. You like about 6 or 7, 8 cars with you. If you can work that out, I think that's the best package.
And the thing that I always worry about is when I get ready to pit, be sure that my spotter is telling the other cars I'm coming in, because I don't want to get run over from behind when I start to make my move on the pit lane.
Steve Park, Ricky Craven, and Bill Elliott also pitted that lap. On this lap, Dave Blaney leads a group of about 8 cars onto pit road.
Yeah, wholesale bunch of them coming in now.
Now, you've been out there running 180 miles an hour. You got to get down to 55 miles an hour. We run small brakes on these cars just for rotating weight off the wheels. Sometimes it's hard to judge that speed.
Oh, that in and out here particularly, I mean, makes a huge difference.
Matt Yoakum.
A 4-tire stop for Dave Blaney. No chassis adjustments. Finally, oh, he stalls the car. Blaney stalls the car. Finally pulls away.
Sterling Marlin also pitting during this sequence. Dick Berggren.
Michael Waltrip with a lousy job of parking here on pit road. Waltrip parked way too close to the wall, and he's just got himself 4 tires and a load of fuel. Sterling Marlin did as well. 2 chassis adjustments on Marlin's car, both of which are designed to tighten it up.
Hornaday, Houston, Mike Wallace, Jason Leffler also pitted. So did Jeff Purvis and John Andretti. Next lap by, and another 10 cars are on pit road. Under green, you cannot pit without losing a lap to the cars that are still out there racing. Steve Burns.
4 tires.
Jeff Gordon's going to come in and get 4 tires. They talked about making a Panhard bar adjustment, and they will do that. They're going to go down 1 round to tighten him up a little bit. Right side tires going on. Mike Skinner in right behind him. No adjustments to the 31. The 24 now taking on left side tires, getting all that gasoline in. Gordon is down and away. 16.9 seconds. Skinner right behind him.
Things are busy on pit road. More than a dozen cars. Ward Burton comes out. Skinner, Buckshot Jones, Ricky Rudd, Jeff Burton.
And the rest of the field is on pit road.
Yes. Matt Kenseth has taken over the lead, and now Hermie Sadler leads this lap as Kenseth pits. Elliott Sadler the leader. Here's Matt.
Dale Jarrett's already in a chassis adjustment for the 88 car. He said his car was just a little bit loose. 4 tires and fuel for Dale Jarrett. The 6 car of Mark Martin also in. 2 rounds for the 6 car, and he's down and away. Dale Jarrett now pulls away as well.
And now's when running at the back of the pack can be a little bit of a deficit for you, because you've lost a lot of track position because of where you were when everybody pitted. So he's going to have to go, Dale is, to catch back up in the back of that lead pack.
Elliott Sadler, the leader, will be the last car to pit. Into the Wood Brothers pit stall.
And that's right, 51 laps, which is the longest anybody went. So I'm like Larry, it surprised me that they came in. I thought they'd stay out there a little longer.
But no matter what, you have to make 3 stops. So I guess they decided let's do it a little early in case we misfigured our fuel mileage. That way we don't take a chance of running out of fuel.
And I believe they only took 2 tires on Sadler's car. There's that speed disparity. Wallace, the spotter, telling him, you can come up on track now. Everybody's gone by you that's been running up at speed.
Well, he crosses this line right there. Now he can go wide open. He no longer is at 55 miles an hour, and this pack's coming in the triangle right now. He wants to get up to speed and try to get back with this pack. Here they're coming running about 3 times as fast as he's running right now. But if he can blend in there, he'll be back with the lead group.
And now the guys at the back of this pack, some of the good cars, they've got to work together to get back up here so that they don't lose this lead draft. There's a good 2 to 3 seconds difference in lap speeds if you lose this draft.
Now, because where the start-finish line is, past the exit of pit road, Elliott Sadler pitted, took 2 tires. He got credit for leading that lap because they're scored at the start-finish line.
But he is not yet up to speed, and the pack should overhaul him before they come back around.
In a hurry.
Bill Elliott goes to the front here in the Talladega 500, presented by Subway on Fox.
It's about moving forward
and not looking back. It's about designing the next generation of lawn tractors that not only cuts your lawn, but cuts it faster. Introducing the John Deere SST lawn tractor with spin steer technology. The only one to come with the technology to spin in place just by turning the wheel. The technology is so advanced, it actually cuts time.
You having fun at your party, honey?
Yeah. Dodge, different. By John Deere, nothing runs like a deer. And by Goodyear, serious technology, freedom from worry.
And welcome back live to Talladega, Alabama. You're watching NASCAR on Fox. Next Friday, we'll be in California. Winston kept qualifying on FX, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, as we get ready for Saturday's Busch race at 3:30 Eastern. That's 12:30 Pacific. The Winston Cup practice we'll see, and then Sunday from Fontana, Napa Auto Parts 500, sandwiched around Fox Sports Net. NASCAR this morning, and NASCAR victory lane. Jeremy Mayfield, your defending champ at the California Speedway. As we look on the race today, so far, so safe, yet Ward Burton, who was up around the leaders moments ago as Jeff Gordon is now in the lead, had said coming into this race, he's been dreading this race since he left Daytona. He thought NASCAR should have made some changes heading into this weekend. Wasn't sure what they should have been, Jeff Hammond, but they didn't make the changes. Yet, he said he would approach this race very patiently, and it looks like most of the drivers have done just that.
He has, and they have.
Too wide, too wide.
What is going on is a situation where when you go out there and take a chance, what they feel like they're doing here at Talladega, you have to sit down sometimes and talk to your families about why you're doing this. They don't quite understand why a driver gets in that race car. And I think Darrell can probably allude to that a lot of times there's a lot more concern with your children, with your wife, even than
there is with the driver.
Exactly, and they have to worry about that when they come to a place like this, when you know that a big wreck can occur because of the competition. Look right there. That's a perfect example. There is 20, 30 cars right there in that one huge pack, and if anything goes wrong, it could be disastrous.
Darrell?
Yeah, listen, I tried to explain it to my wife for years, and I think the only thing that she ever thought about was, this is what I chose to do, this is what I was doing when she married me. And I got to tell you, these drivers, contrary to what you may believe, they're very sensitive guys. They all have feelings, and they're all worried. But when you're a macho guy, what are you going to do? Go tell your crew and your crew chief, I'm scared to drive today? So you can't do that. So you suck it up, you set yourself down in that car, and you go out there and say your prayers and hope for the best.
Most of these drivers have family. Many have kids in attendance today. This is what they do for a living, and they have the chance to do something they love. And that's why they're out there. Joe Nemechek has driven his car to the front. Tony Stewart looks underneath Nemechek for the lead.
He's going to see if Jeff Gordon, his buddy, in that 24 car will go with him. I don't think so.
His buddy?
I don't think so. Not today.
Weren't you at Bristol?
I was there.
And you know what? I bet he was motioning to Jeff. Come on, Jeff, follow me, follow me.
Jeff said, be right there, buddy.
Yeah,
right.
I'm here for you.
The only help now that Tony Stewart has is that 12 car, Jeremy Mayfield. He's a lap down. How about Rusty Wallace? Drops to the bottom. Look at Jason Leffler, the 01 car up there in the 3rd position.
You got some help. Outside only.
That's Todd Bodine right behind the Miller Light car of Rusty.
Help just bailed on you.
Yeah,
outside.
Help is on the way, way past you.
Yeah, they just bailed on you.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing you can hear. You get to working with somebody thinking you got something going, and the next thing you know, they dump you.
It's like, what's that line? Ken Schrader gets sandwiched. I'm from the government, and I'm here to help you.
Schrader's had, he's gone a lap down, and I don't know what's wrong with his car. I think he had a bad pit stop.
Steve, what happened to Schrader?
We know exactly what happened, Mike. He ran out of gas on pit road, stalled the car out. They sprayed ether in it. He could not get it started. That's why he just lost a lap. Let's go to Dick Berggren.
I'm watching Stacy Compton having a great run today. So is Sterling Marlin. And the same guy built the engine for those 2 cars, has built the engine for the 01 car, which is also having a great run here this afternoon. Tony Santana Cola, same guy, built the motor for the 2 cars that started on the front row, and for Jason Leffler, who is running up front right now, the 01.
Chasing Joe Nemechek, though, and these are the first Winston Cup laps that Nemechek has led this year.
Wow, I didn't realize that, but Santana Cola, now that's a great name for an engine builder, isn't it? But I'll tell you, when I would put that cat up against anybody when it comes to restrictor plate racing. He powered John Andretti to a win at Daytona the 4th of July. He worked for Cale for a while. He's a pretty smart cat.
Look at this list, Darrell. These fellas don't know they're rookies. They're running right up front today. They've all had a chance up in the front 5.
5 of them in the top 15 right now.
See, their memory don't go back near as far as mine does. So they haven't seen all the harm I've seen here.
How about Dave Marcus up there in the 71 cars? First start of the year, and Marcus has been running in that main pack all day long. He turned 60 years old in March.
And that's somewhat like his teammate Kevin Harvick behind him, because Dave Marcus is in a Richard Childress Racing car, a Richard Childress Racing engine. They left Kevin Harvick's Busch team down here to pit Dave Marcus today.
That's great. One of Marcus's friends from up north, Bob Pulvereri, on the pole for the modified race at Thompson, Connecticut today, 65 years old.
Wow, that's encouraging.
I don't know what they've got, Darrell, but I'm going to want some.
That's very encouraging.
You bet.
I mean, I'm only 54, so maybe I'll lay out and come back and run for Rookie of the Year.
Look at Marcus. You talk about not being a rookie. He goes to the high side, making 4 wide in that 71 car.
Got her up on the outside and wound her up.
He got a run.
Dave Marcus was the last Dodge driver to win at Talladega in the K&K Dodge number 71 in 1976.
Harry Hyde in the K&K Dodge. What a great operation.
13 different leaders so far. The record is 15 for this race, set last year. Jason Leffler running third, looking for some of Jeff Gordon.
He's got help from Kurt Busch. But Kurt Busch dives back behind Jeff Gordon. Sorry, buddy.
Now those 5 cars have broken out to a 1-second gap back to the 6th place car of Buckshot Jones, leading rookie Casey Atwood and Sterling Marlin. We'll be right back.
If you're happy and you know. Driver leading the race right now.
Now, they are teammates on Sunday, Darrell, but
not on
Todd
Saturday.
wasn't obligated to help Spencer
Not on Saturday.
And didn't. Here comes Kurt Busch. He wants to tie the record for leaders in this race, and does it. Kurt Busch, the 15th driver to lead.
Interesting names up here in the front, don't we? Busch, Bodine, Hamilton, Atwood.
Mike Wallace. 4 of those 5 have never won a Winston Cup race. But this is the kind of track where those things happen. 8 drivers have won their first Winston Cup race here at Talladega.
And, you know, we saw Atwood's car jumping all over the place early in the race, but they did a great job on the pit stop of correcting whatever was wrong with his car. Now he's up there fighting for the lead.
Look at Bobby Hamilton on that 55 car. This is the car that Kenny Wallace finished 2nd in October to Dale Earnhardt. He's wanting to lead here at the start-finish line.
And Casey and Bobby are such good friends. They're both from the same town and around Nashville there.
Rewrite the record book. Bobby Hamilton is the 16th leader of this race. Whoa, and he and Kurt Busch almost get together.
One thing you might notice right here, all 4 Roush cars up there at the front. You got Kurt Busch, Matt Kenseth, 99 car Jeff Burton, and look up there, Mark Martin, and the number 6 car Viagra. Roush cars that come in the front. Undoubtedly, that little trim of the spoiler has helped this team.
Exactly, Jeff. You know, they're working together on and off the track as Kurt Busch tries to find his way around here at a comfort level. He actually got some advice from Mark Martin and Jeff Burton. They recommended that he run the top groove. And he was saying that he's not comfortable out there. He had to find a way for himself. But he's certainly been picking both of their brains this weekend to get some information about a track he's never been on. Guys?
He's found the fast way around.
And I was with some of the Ford drivers a week or so ago, and I asked some of them, did y'all test the spoiler? And they looked at me like, DW, now you know better than that. You don't have to test something when they give you, take something off of that rear blade.
Boy, the run Matt Kenseth's getting on the bottom of the racetrack. He's got Busch behind him. He's wanting that lead by the time we get back to the start-finish line. He's got Bobby Hamilton pushing him, and they're 3 wide behind him going into turn 3.
Now, Kenseth led earlier during green flag pit stops.
Was just about to get up there and take the lead back, and then they went 3 wide on him. Now he's caught in the middle.
40 cars are still on the lead lap. And way back there, about 5.5 seconds off the lead, is our point leader, Dale Jarrett, who also leads our Koch family of drivers. Here's how they are in the point standings. Jarrett coming in here, the leader. And Jarrett's strategy all day has been to run toward the back of the pack for quite a ways in this race and see how things shake out.
He's got company back here now. He's got Bobby Labonte and Tony Stewart. Now, we saw these guys do the same thing at Daytona, but I think they made their move a little too quick at Daytona, and they got caught up in that big wreck.
20 lead changes so far in this race. 49 last October, the first race with this aerodynamic package, as we ride with the Napa onboard camera of Mike Waltrip. 14th place.
Back up through there, Michael. Clear all around.
Look at that.
Boy, look at this mess coming behind him here. They're 3 wide. They're 4 wide.
You know, that looks like something you see on TV.
See, Mike Skinner, the 31 car, led this race. After the pit stop, he fell back, complained about a vibration. I got to believe that they balance these tires with wheel weights just like when you're past your car. And when you're turning these tires that much speed, a little bit of weight off of it will definitely make a vibration, Steve Burns.
Larry, I asked Royce McGee, the crew chief, if they had heard any more from Mike about that vibration problem, and he said that he thought, he echoed what you just said, that it was probably just low air pressures right after that pit stop.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of drivers through this whole year complain about vibrations after they make pit stops. And if you get that inner liner and that outer tire, if they're not balanced up just right and the build-up's way off different, it'll take a lap or two for that to go away.
Wow, Mike Skinner just shot around Casey Atwood like Atwood was stopped, and here he goes up alongside Michael Waltrip.
He don't have a lot of help behind him, but he continues to move forward at a fast pace. Look at him just pull away from Michael Waltrip, but now he's starting to sniff that draft of that next pack.
Skinner up to 6th. And now it's his mirror that is full of that pack, and they have caught the leaders. And here comes Skinner. He's not done.
He's getting a little bit of help here now.
It's like Tony Stewart said, pretty good at playing checkers, but never been real good at playing chess. And this is a high-speed chess match.
Box track shows you the interval of Mike Skinner from the leader, Matt Kenseth, as he continues to try to pull the outside. He's waving at Jeff Burton behind him to pull up and let's go.
Boy, that car rockets off turn 2 over there.
And I believe that Dodge is right there behind him. Sterling Marlin's car, very impressive. Works his way right back up to the front.
And you see Skinner cutting that interval to Matt Kenseth.
He's chopped it about 2/10 just since the start-finish line about a half a lap ago. Maintaining the same, about 3.5 tenths. Watch this run right here down the trial. If he gets a little shove here, it'll really close up.
Had to go upstairs a bit, the long way around to find some help, and now he tags up with Sterling Marlin. Marlin, though, wants the lead back.
Boy, it's closing now. Get that run right there up off the corner.
Now, see, when they go in the corner, the cars go into what we call yaw. And that outside car is in yaw, and it'll get a lot of air to the rear spoiler, and it'll slow him down when he gets up on the straightaway. Yeah, it's not Y-A-L-L.
It's not yaw.
Yeah.
Right.
Hard to work that outside, unless you get lots of good help. Got to have somebody that'll stay with you.
Now Skinner has Dale Earnhardt Jr., but they're 3 wide as Gordon came right up with Casey Atwood in the middle crew.
Things are starting to tighten up at the ranch, boys.
Still 3 wide.
The first 30 cars are separated by only 2 seconds.
These guys are starting to talk to their crew chiefs a little bit about that next pit stop. Be coming in about 14 laps. I would say it'd be 4 tires again.
Matt Kenseth as one of 16 drivers to lead this race. Robbie Reiser is crew chief up on the box as their last year. And continues to lead Michael Waltrip, Bobby Hamilton, and then any of those cars 3 abreast behind them.
Hey, Mikey's 4th. Look at Mikey. He's moved up here in 2nd place.
3 abreast behind them. Hamilton, Craven, and problems for Steve Park, the Rockingham winner. Bit of smoke from behind his car as he drops off the banking.
Comes in here 5th in points. This could really hurt where he's at in the point situation.
Yeah, that's definitely an engine failure, so for sure he'll be going to the garage. Hey, Mikey, going to the front.
First time today for Waltrip. I think he'll be our 7th.
You're clear there, clear all
around. Set a record for this race, but in July of 1986,
pick your lane,
26.
clear all around.
Now this is what Dale Earnhardt was always so good at. You see where Michael's setting? This is where I watched Dale, and he would just kind of work backs and forth, and then he would jump into whichever line looked like had the most head of steam.
Steve, what happened to Steve Park?
Mike, we understand he has a flat tire. He was not going to stop until about lap 99. It's a flat left front tire. So they're going to take this opportunity to come in and do their service. They're going to take a 1 pound out of the right rear, put a round of wedge back in, but a flat left tire for Steve Park.
Yeah, I could see that smoke coming out of the left front, and I thought maybe it was an engine problem. But it's good to know it's a tire, and you can get that fixed and get going again.
When you have a flat in turn 1, it's a long way to pit road.
And it's a wonder it didn't tear up something. That tire come apart and start whooping the oil cooler out from underneath there.
How about this rookie right here, Casey Atwood? He's got the help of the other Dodger, Sterling Marlin. I believe I'd have stayed up there, Casey.
Yeah. Well, what'd you do that for? Should have stayed out there and let him push you across the line, bud.
They had a head of steam. How about Sterling Marlin? Led this race early. Car got a little bit loose, went all the way back to the back. After the pit stop, he's worked his way, and he's back leading 2 laps before halfway.
Setting up for pit stops at Talladega, so we'll take one. We'll be back with more NASCAR on Fox.
On Fox is brought to you by MBNA, issuer of the official NASCAR credit card. Log on, MBNA.com.
For one of the first times today, we have 2 packs of cars in the Talladega 500. Sterling Marlin leads Casey Atwood and Dale Earnhardt Jr. Mike Wallace and Kurt Busch. Still 39 cars on the lead lap, and back through 30th place, it is 1 pack of cars, then a gap to some veterans: Jimmy Spencer, Bill Elliott, Dale Jarrett, Johnny Benson, Bobby Labonte, and Tony Stewart.
Kind of interesting, you know, you think back to Daytona, never saw Michael or Dale Jr. near the front until real near the end of the day. And here they both are. Michael led, and Dale Jr. is right up there fighting for the lead.
Now again, as in the first sequence, Kevin LePage will be the first car to drop off pit road and pit, and Earnhardt Jr. leads, and the crowd comes to its feet. First time today that Dale Jr. has led a lap.
Well, they love that.
You gotta love that.
A potential win in Texas, foiled by a late pit stop. Earnhardt Jr. puts the Bud Chevy out front and took Casey Atwood along to 2nd place.
Casey got a run on Sterling right here. Sterling gives him the inside, but then he tries to take it away. Casey had to go down about half of a lane below the yellow line. Being a rookie, I'm not so sure that NASCAR wouldn't want to talk to him about that.
And they will, Darrell.
The black flag, that means go to the pits and find out what you did wrong.
And they'll probably take their time telling you.
His teammate, Bill Elliott, becomes one of the first to pit under green, 2nd pit stop of the day.
Well, it's time for pit stops. You know, we're up to lap 97. Everybody will have to make this stop and one more. Darrell, I'm going to give you 4 tires. Then you're probably going to finish the race on these left sides. I'm going to give you 2 later on.
I like that. Go ahead. I'm with you. I'm singing the same song, buddy.
The only thing bad about Bill here, a lot of trouble right here on the left side. The only problem is he's in there by himself. He's got some sort of, they're holding him. He must have been speeding on pit road. See, he was speeding on pit road, so they held him for 15 seconds, and he's definitely going to go a lap plus more down, Steve Burns.
There you guys were talking about inner liners, tires tires within a tire. This is the left front off Steve Park's car. This was a cut. They've already circled it. You can see my pen sticking through there. But the inner liner did its job, and it stayed fully inflated, allowing Steve Park to make it back down to pit road.
Boy, what a safety item Goodyear come up with there. That's just a tire within a tire. If it had not been for that, we could have had our first caution.
Casey Atwood is in, making their pit stop repairs now. He will serve an additional 15 seconds. Too fast entering the pit, we're told.
Boy, when it goes bad, it just all goes bad, doesn't it, Larry?
Yeah, 55 miles an hour. And again, I guess it's so, you got your tack to go by, but so hard to judge at after being out there for 50-something laps, running 180-something miles an hour.
And being a rookie, this is like discipline. They got to call you in and talk to you, you know.
And we're being told he was out of fuel to add to it, and when your motor's not running, your tack's not working, you don't know how fast you're running.
That's why he was speeding coming down pit road. Happens a lot.
How about Kurt Busch, that 97 car of Jack Roush? First time ever at Talladega, and he's had no reluctance to put that car in the wind out front.
He runs so good at Daytona back in February, though.
Oh, yeah, he was right up there amongst them.
Jeff Purvis in the James Finch 51.
Now, this team finished second yesterday. The team did, Finch's team, in the Busch race, and having a pretty darn good run today.
And this is a Ford, and they run Ernie Elliott motors that Ernie built last year before converting over to building Dodge motors.
Earnhardt Jr. down to the inside and slicing off for pit road.
Michael Waltrip with him. Mike Wallace, Sterling Marlin, Jeff Burton, Bobby Hamilton Jr. Pit road's fixed to get busy for the next 4 or 5 laps.
Yeah, Michael actually got down past Dale Jr. before they got to the line, which is legal. Dale Jr. slowed down a little too quick.
And Ricky Craven leads this lap. He is I believe he's the 19th different leader of this race.
Dale Jr.'s got a good pit. He's in the second pit down here at the end, so he's going to be able to get in and out real easy.
Dick?
The instructions to Sterling Marlin were to make sure he got wide around the 15 car so they didn't get tangled up coming into the pits. This was arranged that the 15 car of Waltrip and Marlin would fit together. To Steve Burns.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. getting left side tires. They have some changes on their crew. Jeff Clark will gas instead of Jack. 4 tires, no adjustments for Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Whoa, we about had a wreck at the exit of pit road. We had 4 cars trying to go for that hole at once.
And once they pass that line, they can accelerate full speed.
Our leader, Ricky Craven, in the 32, he's hit pit road as well now. He's bringing about 9 or 10 cars with him.
Ward Burton, Kurt Busch come in. Dave Blaney is in. And Mark Martin is the leader. Jeannie?
Well, no adjustments on Ward Burton's car this time around, guys. It was loose. They made an adjustment at the last pit stop, but he is feeling great with the vehicle. Just looking for 4 tires and some fuel to get back out on the track.
Kevin Harvick is in for 4 tires and fuel as well. The very experienced pit crew here working on this car. These guys have all worked together for a long, long time, and they are among the very best in the business. Jack Van, Mike Moore flying around the front of the car. They've already got the rights on. Lefts are done. 15.9 seconds. A nice stop for Harvick.
Green flag stops continue. There's Mike Skinner finishing up. Mark Martin goes to the lead. He and Sterling Marlin have now led every race this year. The only 2 drivers to do so, as Martin pits with Johnny Benson, Matt Kenseth, Dave Marcus, and John Andretti. Jeannie?
Well, Matt Kenseth was complaining the car was a little tight, so they're going to take a turn out of the left rear. And, of course, he wants 4 tires. He doesn't want to risk it out there. He's going to take the time to get all 4 tires.
They put a rev limiter in there to keep him from over-revving it, and that's why it was chattering like that.
Benson, who's way down pit road, finishing up, and here's Stacy Compton. Dick?
Now, Stacy Compton's problems are not going to be fixed on this pit stop. They believe that they've either got a broken shock mount or a broken shock altogether. That's why this long, long stop to try and get it squared away. Crew Chief Chad Knaus has just waved his hand, told them behind the wall. The pole sitter, big problems on the right front. Going to go behind the wall and try to fix them. To Matt Yoakum.
On the previous stop, no adjustments for Ricky Rudd. This stop, the same call. No adjustments for the 28 car of Ricky Rudd as Ray Holm goes to work on the rear. Bobby Burrell on the front. Cleans off the windshield. Norman Koshabizo gets that can, packs that fuel cell full of fuel, 16 seconds, and he pulls away, as does the 20 to 26 of Jimmy Spencer and the 88 of Dale Jarrett.
Rusty Wallace had taken the lead, but now also comes to pit road, completes his service, and heads out.
These pit stops are so critical. If you don't have a good pit stop, you lose that lead draft, buddy. You're out of it.
Now, instead of going behind the wall, it sent Stacy Compton back in the race.
Well, yesterday in the Busch race, Nemechek broke a shock mount. I think that's what put him out of the race. And these shocks are so aggressive, as Larry will tell you. They got so much rebound, they're so strong that they'll just rip themselves right out of the tubing they're welded to.
Yeah, I mean, I think teams do a great job of putting the shock mounts on, but again, the shocks, as you say, Darrell, they're just so aggressive. Just pound, 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 pound. It just rips the mounts right out of the frame.
Rusty Wallace with Robert Presley running 1-2 as they come back up to speed. And a little bump drafting going on there as they get back to full speed.
There's Mark Martin right there in the picture, and Ricky Rudd, and here they all come.
Todd Bodine with him, Ricky Rudd. That's 6 Fords in front of Dale Earnhardt Jr. there in that pack with a Chevy. And Sterling Marlin's Dodge.
Look at Todd Bodine in that 66 down the inside, but Rusty pulls him here, headed off into turn 1, 3 wide behind him.
Todd Bodine, we're told, is going.
All right, you're doing good. Pay attention to that yellow line or get ready to post at 66. He just Jim's down there trying to go by you. They ain't going to put up with that bullshit today. He's coming in for a stop and go. 8 cars coming hard on your inside.
I applaud, I loudly applaud what they are doing today. It is ridiculous to run these cars down on these aprons. That's what causes trouble here. They've been warned. You got to show these guys sometimes.
Did he dive down there, or did he run out of room?
Yeah, he dove
down there. That was no different than what Atwood did. Same thing.
And the reason all this area is asphalted is because in the past when there was grass down there, these cars would slide down there. That would start these cars to tumbling and rolling. They put the asphalt down there for safety, but it's not to race on.
I'm glad that I've said for years, boys, we need out of bounds. I know that there are boundaries, but we need out of bounds, and now we are finally getting around to making that obvious.
This is the second pack led by Kurt Busch, the 5th place car, battling Rusty Wallace, Bobby Hamilton, the 55, Jeff Burton's 99, and Jeff Gordon's 24. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is your leader. Again, Todd Bodine is being black flagged for that move below the yellow line. Sterling Marlin will become the 2nd place car, then Mark Martin. And then that pack led by Kurt Busch. 105 laps have been completed here in the Talladega 500, presented by Subway on Fox.
You're not taking that with you, are you? Watch this.
For improved gas mileage, add more life to your car. By the joy of Pepsi. And by Viagra. Ask your doctor if Viagra is right for you.
Fox welcomes you back to Talladega, Alabama. We're looking in live on the Talladega 500. Dale Earnhardt Jr., your leader. Talk about walking on eggshells. How about driving on eggshells? Only one other time have we gone through the entire race here and not had a caution. That was in 1997. No caution so far. 19 different leaders. That's a new course record here. More than 20 lead changes. And Dale Earnhardt Jr., whose father had won more races here, the great late Dale Earnhardt, 10 than any other driver. And look at the speed record. Jeff Hammond here is Mark Martin, who, of course, led through some of the laps today. NASCAR's all-time record. We're talking about tremendous speeds, but at a tremendous safe pace.
Exactly right, Chris. And to emphasize that, if you notice, NASCAR made a statement. As I said earlier, if you make a mistake and go below that yellow line, you're going to come in and we're going to let you think about it for a stop-and-go penalty. So far, 2 guys have made the mistake. I believe the rest of the crew chiefs and spotters are saying, look, NASCAR's not giving you no second chance, guys. Keep it on the track, on the playing field. As Darrell said, don't get it out of bounds. So far, we had a really nice race.
And Dodge with the front row, of course. The last Dodge to win at Talladega was Dave Marcus, who was running in his first race of this year at age 60. Running in his first race of this year at age 60. He won in 1976, went into Dodge, and we'll keep an eye on him in this race. Let's get out to Steve Burns. Steve?
Thanks, Chris. On the most recent round of green flag pit stops, Jeff Gordon came in. They took on 4 tires, went down another turn on the track bar. Meanwhile, Mike Skinner, they had problems. 3 lug nuts fell off the right rear tire, or off the wheel, rather. They had to go back, tighten them up, and send Mike back out. So he lost valuable positions here on pit road. Let's go to Dick Berggren.
Joe Nemechek's air conditioning system has just quit, and he has said it is hot as swell downstairs in that car, and they're very unhappy with it, but not as unhappy as the pole sitter, Stacy Compton. They did pull the right front shock off the car on that long pit stop. They didn't put another right front shock on it because the mount is broken, and that car is just porpoising out there. He's having a tough time. Jeannie.
Well, Dick, we're worrying about trouble on the track. How about on pit road? Matt Kenseth, rear tire carrier Brian Dunaway actually caught his foot on the hose as he was coming over the wall. Now, fortunately, Matt had already pulled the car into the pit stop, and he was able to get up and finish his duty. Just a twisted left ankle. As you can see, he's back to work. Matt?
We told you earlier about Mark Martin's loose condition. They did make a chassis adjustment on the previous stop. No adjustments on his last stop. He was very happy with his race car. His teammate, rookie Kurt Busch, a problem-free pit stop. No adjustments, just 4 tires and fuel. Guys.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. leads this train around Talladega. Rusty Wallace, who, if memory serves me, has never won a restrictor plate race.
Finished third at Daytona back in February.
Yep.
Junior was second. Michael was first. Michael's falling back a little bit. Kind of funny how the guys that seem to be really good at Daytona are ending up back at the front here at Talladega.
Bobby Hamilton third, Mark Martin fourth. Bobby Labonte, the Winston Cup champ, has fought his way up into the top 5. Jeff Gordon sixth. Robert Presley, Buckshot Jones, Jeff Purvis, and Dave Blaney are the top 10. And Larry, what's happened to Tail End Charlie?
Well, I've been sitting here studying a little bit. We got 112 laps on the board. I think it's time to change the schedule, DW. He has moved up to 17th. The time has come to go.
Yeah, I think it's a little early. He did that at Daytona. Him and Bobby Labonte and some of them that were riding in the back, they made a move to go in about 40 laps. I believe I'd have waited just a little bit longer.
He's got his teammate right in front of him there, Ricky Rudd, in the 28 car, though. They got that inside line trying to move.
Well, what happens to you is your crew chief and your team is also, man, Keith, why don't you get up there and lead a while? Safer in the front. So the problem he's got to go by all these guys because he was in the back. Maybe he and Ricky can get up there and get the lead together.
Next week, Darrell, we go to another big speedway, but a very different speedway than Talladega out in California.
Yeah, it's a little flatter. It's a 2-mile racetrack. It's a beautiful facility. I love going there. It's one of my favorite tracks. Speeds will be high there, probably over 200 miles an hour down the straightaway without any problem. Should be some great racing.
There's definitely some teams have tested out there that has shown straightaway speeds of over 200 miles an hour.
Riding with Jeff Gordon as Robert Presley and Buckshot Jones will pass.
Boy, I'm proud of the 44 car, Buckshot Jones. Look at Jeff Purvis hitting 51. He wants to go by him there, but Buckshot Jones, these guys not had a good season at all. Best finish of 19th at Atlanta. Come here, qualified 29th. He has 4 DNFs this year, so this could get this season turned around.
Darrell, some of those abrupt moves is Jeff Purvis making you a little nervous.
Well, Purvis makes you nervous, yeah. You don't need to be doing that, but it's kind of like Larry said. I think right now you're starting to hear from your crew and your spotter saying, okay, bud, we need to get ourselves in position here now. Let's don't give up any more spots. Let's start taking places. And when that happens and you get a little impatient, guys are getting tired, mentally tired right now. Cars are moving around a little bit. Got to be careful.
What they got to do also, they got to start setting themselves up for that last pit stop here, probably in about 35 or 40 laps. Probably 2 tires to get them to the end.
Boy, things change. We started with 3 Dodges in the front 3 spots, and now the only Dodge in the top 10 is Jason Leffler. It's a Chevy up front, then Rusty Wallace, Bobby Hamilton, Mark Martin, and Robert Presley. That Chevy is this one that you're riding on board. The Buck Chevrolet of Dale Earnhardt Jr. 115 laps complete at Talladega. And pulling these lead cars around the outside of the racetrack and leaving the bottom open. And look who's there, Marlin, Jarrett, and Rudd.
Well, you know, we've seen guys go up on the outside, get the lead, and then immediately fall the inside. And I think what Junior's doing is kind of the best of both worlds. He's running the outside a little while, then he'll move out. He's coming off a little high there. He's got Rusty right with him. That's what you got to be able to do, though. You got to play this game. Where's everybody going? That's where you want to go.
Does the car run freer, higher up?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're not turning the steering wheel near as hard to the left. You're not binding it up, as we like to say. It'll run faster if you can get it up there and keep it wound up.
Now, clear.
Dale Earnhardt, all-time winner at Talladega with 10 Winston Cup victories. Buddy Baker, Bobby Allison, and Darrell Waltrip, 4 apiece. Earnhardt Jr. looking for his first win of the season.
The whole key to success here, the fast car. I mean, every time that you come here and you got a fast car, you think this place is easy.
Boy, talking about two fast cars. Look at Sterling Marlin in that 40. Dale Jarrett in that 88 working out bottom side.
Well, you heard Todd Parrott say that it took them about 10 laps to go from the back to the front. I think they're testing that theory right now.
Boy, it don't look like 33-degree of banking from this angle.
No,
it's
it
like
doesn't.
the side of a building when you stand at the bottom of it.
Looks fairly flat. Doesn't look like 190 miles an hour either. That's the thing that's so deceiving. This place is so big, so wide, and fairly easy to drive that it's very deceiving how fast you're going, how high those banks are, how difficult this really is.
From first to 29th, just 2.2 seconds separate that group.
And we're 121 laps into this race. Well over halfway.
Unreal. And thus far, caution-free.
And you wonder how. Yes. When they're all that close together in a pack like they are, and you wonder how they cannot have something happen.
Now, there's the first pack. As we mentioned, 29 cars were in that first pack. And then that group comes all single file.
But let me tell you, that group was way, way, way. I thought they were out of the picture. I've been watching them, and they are closing up at about a second and almost a second a lap.
But that's a good pack of cars. Almost all of those cars have led today. You got Jerry Nadeau, you got Mike Skinner here in the 31 car. Look at Ron Hornaday in the 14 car was up front earlier. This is a good pack of race cars.
Larry, there's as many cars have led today as haven't. Half the field has led this race.
Wow, that says a lot about the competition of NASCAR Winston Cup racing.
And there's Todd Bodine right back there in that 66 car, who led earlier, but made the mental error of going below the yellow line, and now he's a lap down.
Like Jeremy Mayfield as well in the 12 car.
And Casey Atwood's up in that crowd somewhere, did the same thing.
This pack right here, I think the spotters have gotten together and they said, look, guys, we're not doing anything. By the time I say that, Mike Skinner pulls out of line, but you guys are not gaining if you're going to run side by side.
Well, he can pull out of line now because they've about caught him.
There's that second pack, and there's the interval to the leader, Jerry Nadeau, and you see that number growing a little smaller as they run single file.
They're there.
They're there now. And that's pretty amazing because I tell you, I watched those guys. I said, boy, there's some really good cars that are out of the race. And lo and behold, they're right back up there.
And all of that's because of that aero package. Those cars up there dirtying up there, poking a big hole in there, let them run right back to them.
Got a big old boat making a wake in the water.
And now it's a 42-car draft once again. The only car out of the race, pole sitter Stacy Compton, with that broken shock absorber mount, has taken his car to the garage. Dick Berggren?
Oh, Stacy Compton behind the wall, and it's more than the broken shock mount. They're working on the motor, working on the fuel vet back here. What's going on, Stacy?
Well, I'll tell you what, when it rains and pours, I hate it for the guys with Kodiak, Mellon, Dodge. Had a good car all day. You know, we figured out what we could do at the beginning. We led a few laps and decided to do like a lot of other guys, go to the back and ride around. And, you know, when we needed to go, we could go. And we broke a shock there right before that pit stop. I was hoping for a caution. Come in, I sit in the pits, and with it idling, I'm not sure whether we burned a piston. May have broke a valve spring. I'm not sure what. But we got more problems with just shocks right now.
What's the traffic like out there today?
Well, I mean, the guys are pretty much using their head right now. So a lot of guys riding around in the back waiting for that last 50 laps, and I think the last 50 laps is going to be pretty interesting.
Yeah, we think so, too.
This lap was pretty interesting because they were 4 wide at the next game.
Careful not to get below that yellow line.
Yes. You won't see a rush hour like this anywhere. Thank goodness. Dale Earnhardt Jr. hauls them around the Talladega Superspeedway in the Talladega 500, presented by Subway on Fox.
Subway on Fox is brought to you by Subway, showing the world how great a fresh sandwich can taste. Subway, eat fresh.
Fox welcomes you back to Talladega Speedway. According to legend, Talladega stands on an old Native American burial ground. And one year, Bobby Isaac in 1974 leading the race, but pulled over and walked away after he said he heard voices in his head that told him to get out. Right now, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is your leader. Chevy has won the last 4 races here at Talladega. And we had a terrific Busch race yesterday that rearranged the points. Kevin Harvick was your leader, but Jeff Hammond, Greg Biffle is now.
Greg Biffle, last year's truck champion, in front in that Rouse Racing Ford of his. And then also Jeff Green has closed back up. Last year's defending.
You mentioned the Truck Series, the Sears Craftsman Truck Series results after 4 of 24 races. The point standing, Scott Riggs leading Joe Ruttman.
Joe Ruttman, the Wally veteran, driving Bobby Hamilton. And young Ricky Hendrick, Rick Hendrick's son, driving his first Craftsman Truck Series this year, running 3rd.
All right, it's worth pointing out we've had a Talladega record here in our Winston Cup race. 21 different leaders. So far, 27 lead changes.
Still single file, 4 back.
So far, absolutely no mishaps, no caution flags. That has happened once before in the history of this race.
One thing I'd like to add here, watching this race today reminds me kind of like putting a bucket of water on the top of a stove. You turn on the burner, and slowly but surely she starts to boil. This is the way I think this race is heading. She's getting ready to get hot and very testy.
And when Dale Earnhardt Jr. took over with 92 laps to go, the fans here, there was a roar of applause. They were up and cheering him on. Let's check out Steve Burns. Steve?
Well, guys, they're talking about strategy, when they're going to come. If it stays green, they'll need just one more pit stop. Crew chief on the 55, Jimmy Elliott, down talking to Tony Uri, the crew chief for Dale Earnhardt Jr. They've made an agreement. They want to come between laps 149 and 152. And in fact, it's a handshake agreement. So it looks like a done deal.
More deals being made. Teammates up and down pit road.
Tony, you're just telling me, take a number. I'll get to you when I can. But this is the thing. Most places we go, if you can outwit somebody by changing 2 tires versus changing 4, it's an advantage. Here, if you don't get people on sync together, pitting at the same time, doing the same work on the race car, you're going to end up in trouble. You'll be by yourself.
Well, you know, I kind of agree, and think about this, Larry. I mean, think about Dale Earnhardt. He came out way back last year. I don't know. With this aero package coming out a little behind ain't a bad thing, really.
We've seen that all day.
I think I'd get my 4 tires.
Daryl, one thing starting to worry me is we just saw Buckshot Jones go into that corner and almost slide up into Kurt Busch. Drivers are going into the corner in the middle lane and are sliding way up the racetrack. Well, I don't so much mind them running 4 wide, but when they don't hold their lane, I'm starting to get nervous.
Yeah, well, that's tire wear, track conditions. You know, the track gets slicker as these cars run, and the cars will change quite a bit.
57 laps to go. Caution-free thus far. At least 1 pit stop to go. And it's getting awful racy here in Talladega. We'll be right back. Trial with the lead, and as we were saying, he slid a bit, slid up high, and paid the price.
Oh, yeah, he went from the lead just 1 lap ago back to about 10th or 15th. Just that quickly. That's what I say. Things happen so fast here.
There he is in 13th place, paddling side by side with Jeff Burton.
Fighting for 13th.
Yeah, trying to hold it.
And comfortably leading just before the pass.
Now they're working their way up the outside alongside Robert Presley and Bobby Hamilton.
Oh, man. There.
Still 3 wide. Still 3.
On board the subway cam with Jeff Purvis. And once again, let's give you a chance to enjoy all this horsepower and all this speed and fury of Talladega. The pictures will tell a story while you crank it up. On board Jeff Gordon up on the high side. That's not the lane that's moving.
Right now, it's like you don't want to be late for quitting time. 5 o'clock's coming. Everybody's picking up the pace. Tempers are starting to flare. I tell you, a lot of times, I believe the reason wrecks happen in the second half of the race, mental fatigue. You just can't keep your focus that long for 3.5 hours.
Darrell, I'm glad you brought that up. That was exactly what I was going to ask you a minute ago. Was in 1997, you ran this race here without a caution. What's the mental state of the driver right now? You've been out there, you've been battling for 138 laps side by side, working back to front, making pit stops. Where are you at right now as a driver?
Well, you mentally you're being drained because you're having to make so many decisions. This is like a computer. It's like the computer sitting there having to make so many decisions every time you ask it a question. Feedback to the crew, racing people, somebody running into you. You lose your temper. You're hot. Your arm weary. You've been fighting that steering wheel for 2 hours. Buddy, I tell you, right now is when you've got to suck it up and be the man.
And there's things in the race car you can't do that you do in a road car. If you're going to change to the right lane in a road car, you do a head check. You look over your right shoulder. You can't do that in the race car.
Most of these guys, the way they got their seats built today with these big headrests and all, they really can't see. They have no peripheral vision. So they're just making moves on instincts mostly.
You talk about that, and looking at the cars in the garage area this week, I kind of liken the seat configuration a lot of these drivers have got to blinders on mules. Honestly, they cannot see without the help of their mirror or their spotter.
Well, right now is when you got to sell that mule. Don't worry about the mule going blind. Just load the wagon and hold the line.
Boy, this is a great shot. This gives you a great view of what these race cars are doing.
Let's go to pit road and Jeannie.
Well, guys, 10 to 15 laps. That's how long the 88 crew still thinks it's going to take Dale Jarrett to go from worst to first. What we've seen him is, we've been speculating, of course, he is experimenting here, trying to test that theory to see exactly how many it will be. Most important, they're admitting in the 88 pit, hey, they haven't even begun to show their hand. The shark is circling. Dick?
Joe Nemechek's air conditioner problem has been repaired. It wasn't the air conditioner at all. The hose had fallen off his helmet, so he wasn't getting cool air. Joe fixed that himself. What he cannot fix is it appears as if he has a shock absorber going bad. Same problem Stacey Compton had. The car is bouncing all over the racetrack. Nemechek having a hard time hanging on to number 33.
Compton is back on the racetrack after making repairs. In 43rd place, and Johnny Benson has picked up a hitchhiker on his hood pin.
That could very well be a tear-off off someone's windshield.
I believe it's the white flag. I think it's a white flag. He's waving the white flag. I give up. I surrender.
Subway sandwich wrapper.
Oh, that may be what it is, yeah. There's a lot of those floating around today.
We had a lot of cars just on pit road, mainly cars that was lapped down. I think Steve Park, Bill Elliott, some of these guys getting their pit stop done.
Yeah, they're getting in early, trying to be out of sync so that if a caution should fall, maybe they'll be able to catch it just right.
Marlin the leader, Rudd in second, Hamilton, Waltrip, Mark Martin, Andy Houston, the rookie, up to 6th, and 2 rookies right behind him, Kurt Busch and Ron Hornaday.
One groove, clear low, one groove.
Jeff
Let her on back, come on.
And rookie Kevin Harvick out of the top 10. 47 laps and at least 1 pit stop to go. It's been green flag racing all the way so far at Talladega.
She just doesn't understand me. Yes, the official delivery company of NASCAR. We want to race the truck. People love the truck.
Welcome back to Talladega. Next week, the NASCAR Busch Series goes to Montana, California. We'll have Winston Cup qualifying there Friday on FX. It'll be on the air at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Then on Saturday, Winston Cup practice on FX at 2:30 Eastern, followed by the NASCAR Busch Series on Fox at 3:30. On Sunday, NASCAR This Morning on the net, the Napa Auto Parts 500 here on Fox at 2 p.m. Eastern, then NASCAR Victory Lane.
Go west, young man. There's gold in them air hills.
Will we have a new leader as Mark Martin tries to eke his way out front?
That was partly caused by the slow car of the Page coming out of the pits, and they all had to move around him, and that gave Mark a better line around the outside.
And how about who's pushed him? Ron Hornaday in the 14 car. It wasn't but about 15 laps ago. He was in that pack that was behind the lead pack. Here he is pushing Mark to the front of the pack.
Let me tell you who's fallen way to the back is Jeff Gordon has fallen out of sight back to 29th. You know, the driver leading the most laps here at Talladega has only won 2 of the last 9 races. Sterling's led the most laps today.
I'd hate to, other than just having a sentimental favorite like I did in the beginning, Dale Jr., I'd hate to pick a winner in this deal.
You could pick 10 cars and not be sure of a winner. Dick Berggren.
Sterling Marlin may have an overheating problem. The temperature gauge is at 240 degrees, which engine builder Tony Santanicola told both me and his crew as well, who has told Sterling, don't worry, it'll run at 240 all day long. Trying to tell Sterling Marlin not to worry when the temperature gauge is at 240 probably isn't going to work. They are worried, even if Santanicola is not. He's the engine builder.
Well, it's a distraction. It's another one of those things right now that you do not need. You don't need to be worried about the temperature gauge, because what you first think of as a driver is, all right, I got to get some clean air. I got to get somewhere where I can cool this engine off, and there is no clean air. So how are you going to do that?
But you know what? We do have to decide, Darrell, and I'm going to talk to my crew chief buddy down there, Jeff Hammond. We're going to have about 38 laps to go. One reason I'm wanting to put 2 tires on you, Feta, I can get enough dancing partner. We've talked about how long it takes these guys to dump 2 full cans of fuel in. We only need 1 can and just a little bit of a second can. Jeff, you thinking the same way I am?
I'm awful torn right now, Larry, watching these guys slide around here. But if I've got a crew like Robert Yates, I may go ahead and try to get me 4 tires, because they can just about put what's necessary in that car, and the car seems to be good enough to make its way back up there. There's going to be a lot of decision-making going on. If I've got a crew that can put 4 on, I'm going to get me 4. If I've got a crew that I'm a little guessing about, I'm going to get 2. That's the sure thing, because like you're saying, you cannot afford to lose the draft this late in the race. You never get back up through there.
Listen, guys, I got to do the hardest driving I've done all day. I'm going to have to make moves that I haven't made all day long. Don't hang me out with 2 tires. Give me the grip. Give me the control so I can go where I got to go, make the moves I got to make. Even if it means losing a spot or 2, I can get back up there if my car's handling good.
But I got to believe we're probably going to see a combination of situations. We're probably going to see teams change 4. We're probably going to see teams change 2 tires.
But, Larry, I've seen the crew weigh those gas cans after the last stop, and if you come in with 38 laps to go, can you do that adding just 1 can of fuel?
No, you're going to have to get a little bit of that second can. You're going to have to get a little bit of that second can. Not a lot, but they are going to have to plug it in and get some out of that second can.
Bobby Hamilton just got bumped right there. That was close, and you see him lose a little momentum, and the car scoots around the outside.
And consider this, Larry, one other thing, and I know we're up here and we can talk about this for a long time.
Whoa, boy, these guys are starting to beat on each other.
The more rear weight you got, the faster your car's going to be. The more fuel you pack in there and lower that back end down, the faster your car's going to be, too.
Gets that spoiler out of there.
Yes, sir. Up front, Marlin looking under Martin for the lead, and no room there. Here comes Ward Burton around the outside.
And Darrell, I hate to say this, but I agree with you this time when you talk about that fuel situation. Getting that spoiler out of the air may allow you to come down that back straightaway and make a run for the lead, whereas if you don't get it completely full, you got a little more drag put in the car. With this new aero package, it really makes a lot of difference to your dance partner is more than anything else.
Bring it on around, bud.
Yeah, there's just so many things to consider. I mean, and that's part of it.
Ricky Rudd just took the elevator from the top lane all the way downstairs and into the lead.
And that's the first time he's led today, isn't it? I think it's the first time he's been out front all day.
Correct.
And pit road's getting busy. Next 3 or 4 laps, we got about 12 cars on pit road.
Rudd is the 22nd leader of the race as Michael Waltrip and Mike Skinner are among those pitting. Bobby Hamilton's in. Dick Berggren.
Michael Waltrip surprisingly pits by himself rather than pitting with the 40 car with whom he has pitted all day long. It's probably going to be a 4-tire change. He is pitted far enough out for that. Yes, indeed, it will be a 4-tire change for Michael Waltrip. Winner of the Daytona 500, runs so well here all day long. This is the best shot he's had since Daytona to win a race. Waltrip now gone. 21-3 for Michael Waltrip. Not a good pit stop. A bunch of new guys on his crew today.
Mike Wallace, Ron Hornaday, Kevin Harvick pitted with him. So did Buckshot Jones and Dave Marcus. Joe Nemechek, John Andretti also in with that group.
The next group is on pit road, about another dozen cars. But this is good. Don't put no 20 or 25 cars on pit road at one time.
No, I think that's the right thing to do. You know, break them up to where you got a chance to get into your pit.
Dick.
Sterling Marlin Well, it pitted really well now. He's got the car exactly on the blocks where he needs to be. Tony Santana Cola, we were talking about him all day. The engine builder just pulled the last piece of plastic off the windshield. That's the last time Sterling's going to have an absolutely whistle-clean windshield until this race is over. There he goes. The Steve Byrne, 68.6, emerging.
Dick, 4 tires for the 24 of Jeff Gordon. Slight chassis adjustment to the left rear. He's down and away 14.5 seconds.
I believe Gordon's car must have been getting loose if he put some wedge in that left rear.
Riding with Ricky Rudd, Mark Martin just behind him from the Haviland camera as they come to pit road. Robert Presley taking over the lead.
4 tires. Get it full, Norman.
Talking to Norman, Coach Muse of the Gas Man. Matt?
And the 6 car of Mark is in a 4-tire stop. Sean Parker putting on the rear tire. They were talking about 2, but they were too worried about getting out in front of everybody that have everybody reeling them in. The 28's down and away. Ricky Rudd's gone as the tied ride of the 32 and Rusty Wallace, 4 tires and down and away as well.
Ricky Craven and Johnny Benson also on pit road in this sequence. And Robert Presley, who was the leader, peels off for pit road. And with him is Dale Jarrett. Bobby Labonte leads this lap. Jarrett's in. Jeannie.
Well, guys, last-minute adjustment for the 88, just like the 28. They came to the wall with 2 tires, but everybody else took 4, so what the heck? Why don't you put 4 on? Put fuel in there as well. Complete fill-up. And Dale Jarrett's going to be on his way. Maybe the pit stop going a little slower than they would have liked.
16.2 for Dale Jarrett. He'll grab 2nd gear.
Good job.
And drive the speed limit down pit road. And Bobby Labonte, the Winston Cup champ, has picked up the lead. His teammate Tony Stewart is the 2nd place car.
He's coming to pit road. He's coming to pit road. Going to bring his teammate Tony Stewart in a 20 car with him as well.
I think their strategy is pretty obvious. Come in together, lead together, work together, see where we can get to before this thing ends.
Jimmy Spencer also in.
Cleaning that windshield. Got to have a clear view for these last few laps.
Windshield gets so sandblasted here at these high speeds.
Stewart away in 17 seconds. Labonte pitted much further down pit road. So it took him a lot longer to get into his pit stall.
Stop's going well. It's going to be a pretty quick one. Oh, he
stalled.
Oh.
Well, stop.
That happens so often.
And Matt Kenseth comes out with Stewart, then Labonte, then Spencer.
You kill the engine so often. Once they got real high gear in the car, but you've been riding with that left foot, not doing anything with it. So you come in, you're holding the clutch in, and your legs just kind of maybe a little bit asleep. So it doesn't always pop. You pop the clutch, kill the motor.
Because Tony Stewart wore off pit road, he got credit for leading that lap. He's going to lose it here, though. Brett Bodine in the 11 car, he's actually the leader of the race right now, but he has not pitted.
And look, here's Tony way down here, and look where Bobby is, way back here. That's the difference in their pit stops.
And Tony Stewart looks like Grandpa, the old guy in the hat in the fast lane. Come on, I got to get past you here. I'm faster than you. Until you get up to speed, at least.
He wants to try to get up there amongst them. Maybe they'll get him going quicker.
25 different leaders in this race. That's more than half the field.
And look who's in 3rd place. Look who's in 1st place, actually. You know, Burton had a pretty good run at Martinsville and is leading the race today. So that team's definitely on the right track.
Jeff Burton has now tied the all-time Talladega record for number of leaders in one race at 26. We'll be right back for the Talladega 500 presented by Subway.
Presented by Subway. Let's have a look at the Pepsi race summary here as we have gone through 157 laps. A Winston Cup record has been tied for number of leaders at 26. Lead changes were at 34, and it's been all green. No cautions one other time at Talladega. since 1997 was the only other time that they had a race, Jeff Hammond, when they did not have a caution. It's not like we're disappointed. We're just amazed that we've had such great speeds. And how about the strategy? Our points leader in Dale Jarrett going for his 3rd straight win. Currently 2nd. He sat back for a while. He waited. Now it looks like he's poised and ready to make another move with 30 to go.
Strategy and confidence. That team right now is on a roll. They made the right pit selection, pitting all the way up toward turn 4. Came in under a green flag stop, got in and out, came out 2nd. They're right now in the catbird seat. Early on in the race, and they dropped all the way to the back. They're trying to protect themselves a little bit. These guys are taking a look at the big picture. They realize there's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, and they're trying to get there.
All right, it is Jeff Gordon said about Dale Jarrett, he's having a Tiger Woods type of year. Let's get on to Jeannie Zalasko.
Yeah, sitting in the catbird seat and also sitting in the best pit, by the way. We should point out the 88 crew, they have the only shaded pit stop on this entire track. So they've been keeping cool and comfortable. Also trying to keep comfortable would be the teammates. 28, Ricky Rudd. It's possible he had a disappointing 2nd place finish at Martinsville. She's losing to Dale Jarrett, of course, because Jarrett on 4 stretched tires. But still no hurt feelings here as the 28 crew held up 4 fingers to let the 88 know what they were doing. Steve?
Jeannie, with Bobby Hamilton pitted in the 55 car, he said he felt like he had a flat tire. He came down pit road. The crew looked at it, couldn't find anything wrong with the tires once they took them off, but they did find some body damage. Mike Joy, I believe, mentioned that the 55 had been bumped. They did find body damage on that left rear. Let's go to Dick Berggren.
Well, if this race stays green, the crews have done all they can for the drivers. About all they can do right now is to cheer him on, wish him well, tell him what line to be in, because no more adjustments will be made if this thing stays green. To Matt.
And I just spoke with Greg Zipadelli, Tony Stewart's crew chief. A flawless stop by the 20 crew, but the problem that they have is the left front fender has been caved in about halfway. Tony made contact with another car. He never said on the radio which car it was, but the problem, his car cannot suck up on the cars in front. He can't pull out and make that pass. Right now, he's just going to have to ride.
Ward Burton has had to serve a penalty stop for pitting out of the box, so he has gone 1 lap down. Kevin LePage has taken the Morgan McClure Chevy to the garage. And Darrell, this whole race has changed complexion since the pit stop.
Oh, yeah. Well, like these guys keep saying, all bets are off right now. You put your game face on. Whatever you can do now, you do it. You don't take any prisoners now. It's flat out, belly to the ground, right to the finish. Sterling Marlin just displayed that little move when Dale Jarrett tried to make a run on him going down into turn 1, ran him up to the top, and then dropped to the bottom and picked back up a lead draft. Right now, Dale Jarrett's back in 15th place. You're not going to give anybody anything now. Want anything from me, buddy, you're going to have to take it.
This is when all the deals are off. There'll be 25 laps to go next time. You have no buddies. I used to preach that to Mike Skinner. Race after race here in Daytona. You're on your own agenda. You do what you have to do to win this race.
This pack is now 29 cars strong. Michael Waltrip's about 10 seconds behind them. I don't know if he'll be able to run them down or not.
He don't have a whole lot of help to catch back up to this pack with those few laps.
No, Michael's done for. Unless there's a caution, he's out of it. 2 guys can't do it.
How about Johnny Benson in this 10 car? He was back there with Dale Jarrett. Now he's up to 3rd position here with 25 laps to go.
And like Dale Jarrett, yeah, he was in provisional land all day, Larry. We never saw Johnny Benson except on pit stop.
And Dale Jarrett in 3 laps has gone from 2nd place to 25th. I think he was making his run. He was happy where he was, but Sterling kind of put an end to that.
Well, inquiring minds want to know, is that to plan?
To fall back now?
Yep.
No, not now. He was right where he wanted to be.
He was making his move for the lead workout.
No, it didn't. He tried to pass him hanging.
Get out of town time again, or is it too late for that?
This is the problem that he run into. Now he's back in the middle of the field. Now he can't go all the way to the rear and start over again, so he's got to try to go from where he is.
And the intensity of the eye of the storm will grow here in the last lap.
Oh, yeah, you can hear it coming.
Storm clouds brewing in Talladega, and we don't mean skyward. Things are closing up for the lead here in the Talladega 500, presented by Subway on Fox. Talladega 500, Tony Stewart is the leader. Kurt Busch, the rookie, is second. Johnny Benson is third. Well, that makes, well, now it's 2. It was 4 of the first 7. Now it's 2 of the first 6. Looking for their first ever Winston Cup win. And this is the track for it. This race has seen 8 first-time race winners, including the first Talladega 500 winner, Richard Brickhouse. The owner of that winning car, Ray Nichols, has been under the weather. We want to say hello to him. But also Donnie Allison, Ron Bouchard, Dick Brooks, Bobby Hillen, Phil Parsons, Lenny Pond, and Kenny Schrader got their first wins here.
Well, we got 20 laps to go, and 20 laps here at Talladega, it is a long, long time.
I'll tell you what, the fingernails, mine are down to the quick. I don't know about y'all's, but I can't go much further.
Let's find out about strategy. Let's go to the leader's pit. And Jeannie.
Well, the first strategy we have to deal with Greg Zipadelli is the fact that this fender is dinged. How do you think it's going to affect you? How's the car running?
Right now, it's not affecting it too bad. We made a change this morning to, if we could get in the lead, it would be better. And it seems like it's paying off for us right now. It doesn't want to suck up as good when it's behind. We had a little bit of a hassle getting up there, but right now it's doing all right. We'll keep our fingers crossed. There's a whole lot of racing to go.
All right, to Matt Yoakum.
And Todd Parrott is the crew chief for Dale Jarrett. Your driver's been fluctuating from 15th to 20th. We're within the 20 lap to go window. When does your guy need to make a move?
He told me last night that he knew what he had to do. He saw what the man did here last October, and getting down toward the end, and he seems to be making a pretty good little move right now. So I don't know, maybe the man's talked to him.
He's trying for his 6th plate win. Now let's go to Dick.
Chip Ganassi has a reputation as a brilliant IndyCar strategist, but if he wins today, it'd be his first point win ever in Winston Cup. His driver, Sterling Marlin's got a shot at it. What's your strategy from here, Chip?
Well, you know, on the last stop, everybody was thinking about 2 or 4 tires or whatever. Seemed everybody went with 4, so that's the end of strategy. Now it's just about track position from here on out.
All right, that's up to Sterling Marlin.
Todd Parrott was talking about the man. The man is Dale Earnhardt, who had 10 wins at this racetrack. Earnhardt lost his life on the last lap of the Daytona 500 while trying to hold 3rd place in a pack of cars as tightly knotted as this one.
And you see Dale Jarrett down on the inside. They're kind of buffing in and out, on and off of Buckshot Jones. But Dale's starting to try to work his way back up to where he was before he got run up the track by Sterling Marlin.
Boy, Mike Skinner in the 31 was getting a good push from Ricky Craven on the 32 car, but as they went off into turn 1, it's like it pushed him up the racetrack.
Let's have a look at the damage to Tony Stewart's car and how it got that way.
That corner.
Woo! Got into the back of Johnny Benson early in the race.
He sideswiped him. Slide-swiped him.
That's that little dink in the left front fender Jeannie spoke of.
Doesn't seem to be hurting anything.
We're going to put a lap on Jeff Purvis.
Might have narrowed the nose up a little bit. Make it run better.
Kurt Busch shoving Stewart down the straightaway toward turn 1.
You got to be pretty impressed with Kurt Busch.
I'd say.
He's been up there all day. He got that Sharpie out. He's ready to make an autograph in Victor's Circle.
There's a lot of bump drafting going on. Moments ago, Ricky Craven and Mike Skinner.
Just staying on it, bump draft, bump, 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 bump. But this was going off into turn 1, and then this is where Ricky, I think, slid way up the racetrack after they got into turn 1.
That's friendly. Those are friendly bumps. Just nice little casual bumps. Picks up the speed of both cars. Just wanted to only be sure you do that on the straightaway. Don't try that in a turn.
Jarrett on the inside has now pulled himself up to 9th place. We'll be back to Talladega on Fox after this.
Presented by Subway on Fox is brought to you by AC Delco Automotive Parts, when the right way is the only way. By Ultimate TV from Microsoft. And by Miller Lite. Grab a Miller Lite. It's Miller time.
Getting down to crunch time at Talladega. Crank it up on Fox. Well, we'll just have to do that in this segment. But right now, Tony Stewart leads him across. Kurt Busch, Johnny Benson, Mark Martin, Jeff Burton, Ricky Rudd. The The Wallace brothers, Mike and Rusty, Jarrett and Kenseth are the top 10.
Well, for 175 laps at Talladega, this has been the greatest job of driving by these drivers that I've ever seen here. They've been very, very courteous to each other today.
Got knocked down below the yellow line and then popped back up there into Joe Nemechek, but he didn't drive down there. He had to go down there. That was a defensive move.
Yeah, I believe that what I was talking about, that courtesy and all, you know when that started? It started in the driver's meeting this morning. When these guys were told they were going to be black flagged if they didn't do certain things today, they heeded that.
Too wide outside, too wide outside.
And that courtesy may all go out the window with 10 laps to go. We'll be back for the final 10 laps of the Talladega 500 after this.
Fox is brought to you by the joy of Pepsi.
180 caution-free laps. Only 8 laps to go. Tony Stewart leads rookie Kurt Busch in his first Talladega appearance. And Johnny Benson, who's also looking for his first Winston Cup win. And it'll be 7 to go when they come back.
And I believe Stewart watched that Busch race yesterday. You see how he keeps dropping that car right to the inside, particularly off turn 4, not letting anybody get a run on him.
Steve Burns.
We've been listening to crew chief James Ince talk to Johnny Benson in that 10 car. Johnny said, I can make a move. I can go past those guys whenever I want. James said, absolutely not. You stay where you are, you tighten your belts, and you wait till that last lap and stay on the bottom. Let's go to Dick Berggren.
Kurt Busch in car number 97 is doing an incredible job. This kid is just 22 years old, making his first ever start at Talladega. He didn't test here. He didn't practice here. All his experience has come this weekend. He's used to running well at new racetracks, however. When he first started at Daytona last year in a truck, in his first start, he finished second.
The car that won yesterday's race has the same number as Tony Stewart, comes from the same team, and was driven by Greg Zipadelli's former driver in the NASCAR Modified Series, Mike McLaughlin. So there was a lot of share between yesterday's winning car and Tony Stewart's team about how to win on this track this weekend.
By all means, and we heard Mike McLaughlin say over and over again, couldn't give up the bottom, couldn't give up the bottom. And you watch Tony Stewart, he'll jerk it right down to the inside off of the corner, not letting anybody get a run on him.
You got Bobby Hamilton in that 55 car. That's his teammate, Joe Nemechek, in the 33. That's the 2 cars that pushed Dale Earnhardt to the victory here in October. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that 8 cars behind them.
Sterling Marlin, who led in the early going, is way back in 16th. Jarrett is back in 13th. More than half the field has led this race, but who will win it?
5 laps to go this time.
They just can't, they don't know what to do now. They can't make any, they're kind of bottlenecked up with traffic. Can't go in the high line, can't go in the low line. Just going to have to wait to see if anything shakes out in front of them.
And they'll be waving their arms, but Darrell, this many cars in the pack, you can't work with nobody. You got to get on a hole when it's there.
No, this is just hoping for an opportunity. You want to be an opportunist right now. You want to be an opportunist right now. If something comes to you, take it.
Why do they build all these seats here? Nobody's sitting in them.
They're just for numbers. Seat numbers.
Kurt Busch, he is not coming off the rear bumper of Tony Stewart in that 20 car. He has been locked to it for about 5 laps.
Darrell, if Tony can stay right along that yellow line, can he be beaten?
I don't think so. Yesterday, I stood here and then watched in awe as the 20 car, Mike McLaughlin, held him off at the very end. He was down on the apron even. But let me tell you, it's going to be hard to get by that 20 car today.
Todd Bodine has gone to the garage, only the 3rd car out of this race, joining Kevin LePage and Stacy Compton.
But here comes that outside line. Here comes that 55 car on the outside, teammates. And they're making some inroads into the lead. They got Dale Jr. with them.
On pace to be the 3rd fastest Winston Cup race ever. And caution-free. 3.5 laps to go.
It's pushing and shoving now. You take everything you can get. If there's room, you take it. If there isn't room, you take it anyway. This is as intense as it gets, folks. Let me tell you, right now, those drivers' hearts are pounding out of their chest.
Harvick makes it 3 wide, back about 15th place, and gets together with Bobby Labonte.
And you've been leading the race. You've been up front. You know you got a car capable of doing that, but you can't get there.
You know, one thing I believe that's keeping that outside line from going, Darrell, they're running too close to the inside line. That's stalling that outside line out. They can't get that momentum.
Bobby Hamilton's out there trying.
So, Larry, you're saying Hamilton needs more air between himself and those inside cars?
A little bit of an air gap.
But if he did, Larry, think about this. If he moves out very much, they'll be 3 wide.
I said a little bit, not a lot. Just a little bit.
Last year, Tony Stewart won more races than any Winston Cup driver. This year, so far, he's been snake bit. 28 of these cars are on the lead lap, and there's probably 28 of them that could win this race, even with just 2 to go.
Outside line run here, getting a little bit of line there. You see Dale Earnhardt Jr. Come on, man, come on.
Here we go. He's there. He's going to get up alongside of Tony Stewart, going in the corner.
Your line's still moving, bud. Do a nice job right there.
Place on back.
Boy, it's going to get really, really wild if they get side by side for the lead.
And once the white flag comes out, all bets are off.
We'll see that next time by. 1.5 laps to go.
Can Stewart win his first of the season? Can Kurt Busch or Johnny Benson win their first race ever?
Well, we saw Jimmy Spencer yesterday get along beside the leader, but he couldn't get by him.
Tony Stewart seeing exactly what he wants to see. These cars side by side behind him as they come to the white flag.
Got to do it, man. Got to work both sides of the street.
Oh, he almost got Hamilton as he came up the racetrack. That
Tony's momentum.
It hurt his momentum.
It did, and Hamilton gets the lead.
That's his teammate again behind him on the white flag lap.
And he doesn't want to leave his teammate hanging, but he's got to, or he may lose the lead to the 20 car.
I'm sure he needs to get to the bottom, and he goes to the bottom in front of Tony Stewart.
That leaves his teammate, Joe Nemechek, out to drive.
Now Bobby Hamilton's got to worry.
Hamilton comes up to take Nemechek along.
Play both sides, Bobby, both sides.
Oh, he's got to go to the bottom, Darrell. Protect the bottom.
Protect the bottom.
Martin, you know what to make it 3 wide.
Folks, just remember, the start-finish line, when you come off of turn 4, the race is just beginning.
Hamilton, Stewart, and then 3 wide behind them.
If he'll protect the bottom, I don't believe they can beat him. He goes to the bottom here off turn 4.
Nice block.
Move to Papa, baby.
5 wide behind them for the last time through. And they are 4 abreast for 3rd. I believe Kurt Busch got it.
And I wouldn't even begin to guess from 4th back.
I never saw anything like that in my life. I mean, I saw Bobby Hamilton win, but I never saw that many cars come across the line that close together.
And Darrell, everyone's prayers today were answered. We had a safe race at Talladega.
Oh, thank God. Thank God we had a great day and a great race.
That was awesome.
And Bobby Hamilton, my buddy.
Kenny Wallace, 2nd last October for this team. And Bobby Hamilton, when Wallace left, Hamilton replaced him at Andy Petree Racing and scores his first Talladega win in his 19th start.
Look at this back here. For Pete's sake, how are we ever going to figure out who runs 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th in this race?
Look at that.
Look at that.
Wow.
That's a scoring nightmare right there.
Now, Somebody's going to have to tell their sponsor tomorrow, how'd you do? Well, I finished half a second behind the winner. Well, where were you? 12th. Steve Burns.
All right, crew chief Jimmy Elledge receiving congratulations from Richard Childress. Jimmy, tell us about that victory. That was a wild one.
That's unreal. I'll tell you what, Bobby did a super job there. You know, we kind of messed up on that last pit stop there, and it wasn't real good. And, just put 4 tires on him, and that's what worked last year for us with Kenny Wallace. And, you know, Kenny followed Dale to the front with that same car. And, you know, this was for my old buddy Dale. You know, we sure missed him. And all the people at home, the Earnhardt families, that are watching us, it's for y'all.
Let's go back upstairs to Mike Joy.
Thanks, Steve. It's an emotion shared by many here as they check the spoiler on Hamilton and send him to victory lane.
Jimmy Elledge, for a number of years, worked on that black 3 car and was a tire changer.
And a very, very intelligent guy. Great, great crew chief.
It's the 4th career victory for Bobby Hamilton. Chevy congratulates Bobby and the number 55 Monte Carlo on the big win today. Here's the Chevrolet winning moment. The pass on Tony Stewart for the lead puts Bobby Hamilton in Talladega victory lane. We'll be right there in a moment.
If you've got a big job, Labor Ready is the nation's leader in temporary labor and the first to offer a 100% satisfaction guarantee. If you aren't completely satisfied with the work, call us within 2 hours and we'll take care of it, no questions. Just call 1-800-24-LABOR. You can find good help these days. Labor Ready. Dependable temporary labor.
When you retire, Conseco offers a wide variety of retirement products that can help. Conseco, step up.
Payments from just $1 a day, falling in love with a Yamaha V-Star has never been easier.
Welcome back to Talladega, where a safe, caution-free race has given Bobby Hamilton his 4th career victory. He's in the MBNA winner's circle. Hamilton led just 3 laps today and gives car owner Andy Petrie his first Winston Cup triumph.
We'll be able to up the limit on his MBNA credit card now.
My microphone is soaking wet. You led just 3 laps. How did you win this thing leading so little?
I'm too damn tired to talk to you.
Catch your breath. Everybody in victory lane is in tears. The crew chief, Jimmy Elledge, is in tears. And Andy Petrie, the owner, first win, is in tears. How'd you do it?
Watched that 3 car last year. This car runs second to him.
Come on. I'll come on down with you.
I watched that 3 car last year hugging them cars.
Yeah.
Keeping his fun going. And then I seen Joe coming. I knew he was going to be okay. And this car finished second to Dale Earnhardt last year. Bless his heart, we missed him dearly here. I learned so much from that fall race here. And if anybody rode with me, he did. And thanks this guy right here, Joe. And
good job, man.
Joe with Home's car.
To congratulate him.
I'm just tickled death for Square D. They've been fighting a long, hard road and everything. And Chevrolet, Goodyear tires. I mean, we were better on old tires. Goodyear tires are off. Unical,
Anything I'm missing, I'm sorry. I'm new at this car, and I want to tell you what, I'm just happy to be here. I got a great teammate and a real good team.
You and Joe look absolutely physically drained. Was it the heat or the concentration, Bobby?
I tell you, I'm just really proud of everybody we raced against today because I think it wore us out mentally just trying to be safe out there. I've seen more give and take today than I ever have here, and I'm just really proud of the people we raced against. This makes you proud to be in Winston Cup.
We had what we needed. We had a safe racing. Congratulations to you as the winner.
Thanks.
I challenge anybody that don't think these guys are athletes. They just run 500 miles in 3 hours, cockpits of those race cars 130, 140 degrees. I challenge you if you don't think they're an athlete.
And Nemechek, who pushed Hamilton up into the lead, ended up 6th. Tony Stewart, the runner-up. Kurt Busch, first time ever here, is 3rd.
Impressive run by that rookie, I'm telling you.
In fact, 5 rookies finished on the lead lap today.
Dale Jarrett, 18th.
And again, I just want to reiterate, this race was run the way it was run today because of what happened this morning. That black flag will get these guys' attention. You drop below that yellow line, you're coming into pits.
You don't see that much. Jeff Gordon, 28th at Talladega.
No. 1 second off the lead, and he finishes 28th. These cars out of the race at the finish. We'll be back to Talladega on Fox after this.